You're listening to WPIAL Football on the High Top Sports Network. Good evening, everyone, as we bring to you the Freeport Yellowjackets in the Knoch Knights from Knoch High School. I'm Adam Morganti, and joining me is my partner Mason Flanagan, and Jake DeLuca will be our cameraman for tonight's game. And these two teams have played before, including 2 years ago in Freeport beat Knoch 34-31 last two times these teams met. But this is the first time, actually, that there's a name to this game. They're calling this game the Pike Bowl, and they're playing for a trophy. It's called Playing for the Pike Trophy, and you may be wondering, why is this called the Pike Bowl? Well, it's because there's a road called Pike Road, which is the main highway that goes from Freeport and Knoch School District. So both teams, they played week 0 last week. Both teams fell to 0-1. Knoch lost here to Central Valley 62-0, and then Freeport lost at home against Armstrong 48-14. Now welcoming my partner Mason. You announced that game at Freeport. So what were some of the things you saw from Freeport in that game?
Yeah, it was a tough offensive start for Freeport. 14 points, obviously, 7 of those coming from special teams on the big 96-yard kickoff return from Vinnie Clark. Garrett King, 69 passing yards and a touchdown. A bunch of guys got banged up on offense. Ben Lane was down. Garrett King was limping a little bit. It seems that they're all back and healthy and ready to go, so hopefully those cramps aren't going to be an issue again this week.
Yeah, the heat was definitely an issue last week for Freeport, but really beautiful night for football. Shouldn't have to worry about that as temperature. We'll get the game time temperature for you shortly, but it should go down into the 50s tonight. And as far as Knoch, they faced the defending state champions last week in Central Valley. They lost 62-0. They only had 58 total yards of offense, 55 of those coming on the ground. They only had one passing attempt as Keegan Frazier accounted for 50 of those 58 rushing yards. And Knoch, who they went 0-7 last year, they're now on a 9-game losing streak. And let's go back to Freeport, Mason. Garrett King, his first game in over 2 years as he was battling cancer last year. So a little rusty, you'd say. He only had a completion percentage of 36.4. So what did you see from Garrett King? Did he look a little bit like off the beat, or did he look a little rusty to you?
That could be the case. It's his first time out getting an actual snap in a game, actual live game. But it just didn't seem like he had enough protection from his offensive line, as both quarterbacks were under pressure that first half, and there was literally no time. You had to grab the ball, you had to throw it. You might have had, it looked like Big Ben last year in the later half of the season. The offensive line wasn't there, and that's what Garrett King lacked. And of course, after the halftime break, we know what happened. Armstrong just took off and ran away with that game.
Yeah, Armstrong scored 34 points in that second quarter and just pulled away. And you talk about that offensive line giving King not enough time to throw the ball. They were out one of their more experienced starters last week in Bear Freeman, who's a 4-year starter, or this will be his 4th year starting for Freeport, but he will be out again tonight for this Freeport team on the offensive line. But everyone else is healthy without those cramps. Everyone is good to go. Now let's talk about the quarterback on the Knoch side. They go to junior Carson Kosecki, and he is a transfer from North Catholic, so he has 2 more years of eligibility. He really didn't have much time as well behind that offensive line, and really they just ran the ball most of the time for Knoch.
Yeah, Adam, it seemed like it was a little bit of a mismatch. Both teams playing, they want to compete, so they're going to play a team. Of course, you're playing the 3A state champion, or you're playing a 4A school that's been relatively successful in their career. So you're going to go out and you're going to compete, and then you're going to play an opponent of your own size in the actual week 1. I got to get used to it because last week was week 0, but it's week 1 now.
Yep, this is week 1 non-conference action here on the High Top Sports Network. High Top Sports Network is excited to be broadcasting Freeport and Knoch Athletics this fall. If you or someone you know is a local business owner interested in sponsoring High Top Sports Network's coverage of Freeport and Knoch Athletics now or in the future, please contact us via at staff@hightopsports.com or by phone at 724-824-3554. You can also find us at www.hightopsportsnetwork.com or on Facebook at High Top Sports or on Twitter at @HighTop_sports. That'll do it for the pregame show here from Knoch High School. Coming up, you'll hear from both head coaches. You'll hear from the Knoch head coach, Brandon Mallory, and from the Freeport head coach, John Gaylott. So stay tuned for those interviews, and we will be back with you guys a few minutes for kickoff as you are listening to WPIAL Football on the High Top Sports Network.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
Hello and welcome to High Top Sports Network. My name is Josh Schreckengast here on this edition of Knoch Talk with Knoch varsity football head coach Brandon Mallory. Coach, we're going into technically week 1 here, but we had a week 0 season opener, obviously a tough one for you guys against Central Valley. Tell me some positives you were able to take out of that game.
You know, the biggest thing with Central Valley, we went back and looked at the tape. You know, we were able to do the things that we wanted to do, just not on a consistent basis. So, you know, guys were making blocks. The windows, though, just closed very fast. And, you know, with them being, they're such a very good team, you know, my hat's off to Coach Line. He did a great job. So we had some positives to build off this week, and we'll be ready to go for the Freeport this week.
Yeah, Freeport this week coming up, the Battle for the Pike. Yeah. I saw you guys, one of the more interesting rivalry trophies I've seen so far, a mounted pike with a football in its mouth. Tell me how that came about.
You know, it's just something that came up this summer. Coach Ken Elliott, who coached here, taught for years. He has a very creative mind, and he came up with this summer and presented it to myself and Mr. Reiser, Kurt Reiser, our AD, and the guys down in Freeport. So I think it's a great thing. So we're looking forward to playing for that.
Yeah, stoke the rivalry a little bit. You know, Freeport, they obviously fell last week to Armstrong 48-14. And aside from really a 5-minute spurt, Armstrong was kind of able to hold their offense in check. Talk to me about what you've seen on film from Freeport and how you guys are going to attack.
Yeah, you know, the big thing with them is we just have to, you know, Freeport got after them, or excuse me, Armstrong got after Freeport a little bit. And we, you know, with us last week, you know, I talked about the bright points defensively. You know, we had guys, you know, making sacks, getting pressure on Central Valley at times. So we need to just finish and execute and wrap the guys up and get all 11 heads to the ball. So if we can rally and execute the way we're able to do, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys were held off the scoreboard, but offensively, how are you going to attack the Yellowjackets this week?
Yeah, with them, they're very they run a 50 defense. You know, 5 traditional linemen, 2 stand-up defensive ends, and they're playing a lot of man in the back in the defensive backfield, so a lot of man coverage back there. So Coach Duran's going to bring a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. So we got to look to, you know, try to get inside a little bit when they're up inside when they come, and also try to exploit them on the edge.
How were you able to kind of get your guys past what happened against Central Valley, you know, kind of wipe the slate clean a little bit?
Yeah, you know, the big thing with week 0, you know, back in the day, we always played a second scrimmage. So we tried to, you know, go back. We looked at the film, told the kids some of the good things, what we did wrong. Basically just treat this as a scrimmage. It doesn't impact anything we want to do as far as, you know, playoffs, seeding, and getting in and that type of thing. And that's really where we want to go. So this week we just want to see improvement, obviously put points on the board, and stop Freeport and get that first win.
Injury report, did you guys get out of that game healthy?
Yeah, the guys were some dinged up. You know, it was kind of chaotic there for a little bit, first couple series. You know, Carson went out. He actually got a cleat to the face. He was all bloodied up there for a little bit, but they cleaned him up. Jake Murphy took a knee to a helmet, so he was banged up a little bit. And Nevin Peart got rolled up, so we didn't really have him at all for the entire game, unfortunately. But I think everybody should be good to go for tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much to Knoch varsity football head coach Brandon Mallory here on Knoch Talk. You can catch the Knights taking on the Freeport Yellowjackets tomorrow evening right here on High Top Sports Network. For Coach Mallory, my name is Josh Schreckengast. We'll see you on the field Friday night.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Welcome into High Top Sports Network for another weekly visit with Freeport head coach John Gaylott. Coach, thanks as always for hopping on with us.
No problem at all.
Obviously, a game tomorrow night, and we say tomorrow night, this is going to air during the actual broadcast, and folks will be able to see this then, but taking on Knoch. A school about 5 miles I think in total from here, so a lot of familiarity I'm sure for you guys, maybe your players and their players. And I know when Josh talked to you last week, we kind of wanted to phrase the Armstrong game as a kind of a rivalry game, and you kind of said no, not so much. We haven't played them yet. It's the first time since they've been in existence you guys got a chance to play, but I'm sure you guys are a little more familiar with Knoch, and you could maybe make the case that's a possible rivalry game for two teams that aren't necessarily in the same section.
Yeah, just being so close, but we're really close with their staff and our staff. Same thing with Frank and his group. But so we, it's a rivalry. It's just like we both want to beat each other. But whenever it's done, we'll hug each other and just talk, afterwards. So really good group of guys, and they coach their kids very well.
Before we dive too much further into the game here against Knoch, let's talk a little bit about last week, Coach. Tough loss to Armstrong in that game. A lot of factors, I think, that went into that. The one thing you guys, I think, were a little undermanned there, missing some guys that got injured in that scrimmage on the Saturday before, and then, of course, some guys going down in that game. That was definitely probably pretty tough for you guys to kind of overcome.
Yeah, it was tough, but our kids battled, tremendously there, and really proud of our student athletes that jumped in and filled the void. And I thought they did an exceptional job. It was just the heat and the cramps, and started getting to you when we had 30s dressed, and they had 60-some on ours, and it just, we just wore down. And but it wasn't because they were quitting or anything. It was just they were totally exhausted.
Yeah, I was up in the press box and I was cramping. So that just tells you what kind of conditions we were all operating in that night. But, Coach, what were some of your takeaways there? I'm sure there were some things, despite a loss, that you were happy to probably see in that game.
Yeah, I was really happy how we came out and started. That's the first time we got to kick off. And we went down 3 plays. We picked up 3 first downs right off the bat. And then, we had that one penalty, and that kind of hindered us a little bit. And, it stalled, but 0-0 at half or at the first quarter, and then we were trading touchdowns back and forth, and it's 14-14, and we have mishandling of the ball. The snap was a little bit low, mishandled, and it was a fumble, and then two plays they scored, and then they kind of started to roll after that. But just really proud of how the kids, they didn't quit. I mean, that was a game. It would be very easy for them to do so, and they didn't.
Health going into this game, Coach. You guys like where you're at heading into this matchup against Knoch?
Yeah, we're still banged up a little bit, but we got everybody back but Bear, our 4-year starter, so on both sides of the ball. So hopefully next week he'll be able to go.
Delving into what you guys know you do well and what you think Knoch does well, I mean, what are some of the favorable matchups you think going into this game for you guys as it pertains to the Knights?
I just think we're pretty much equal. It's mirror image of each other. With their offense that they're running now, it's very similar. And they have playmakers, and we do too. And their line is big, and our line now, we're getting a couple people back, is it's very comparable.
What's been maybe one of the points of emphasis this week coming off that loss, and probably wanted to get back to work quickly, I'm sure, but what have been some of the points of emphasis here this week in practice?
Just make yourself better every step you take, and that's always been what we do. Just make yourself better every day.
You talk about having some good skill guys, obviously Ben Lane being one of them. Getting Garrett back was huge, and I guess Garrett's obviously being off as long as he was. What did you see from him last week, and what have you kind of seen this week in practice? Obviously, I'm sure he had a lot of jitters in that game, but for all intents and purposes, despite maybe getting rushed a little bit there, he looked like he was in good shape there, and it was great to see him out there.
Yeah, he is definitely in good shape. And everybody has to understand he didn't play last year. He played one scrimmage, Knoch. So this is really his first year, and he improves drastically, week by week. So I'm really happy with him and with all the kids and how we continue to grow.
Coach, this is another non-section game. I don't want to say it doesn't matter as much, but obviously you guys put a focus, as most teams do, on those section games. But considering this isn't a section game, what is something that you try to work on when it comes to a matchup against a team that maybe a loss or a win doesn't matter as much in the standings like this particular game this week and like last week against Armstrong?
14 years here, we always play to win. So to us, it's like a playoff game. If you don't treat it that way, kids are going to get hurt because we're going to be kind of like reserved. So we're playing because we want to play to win, and that's what we do. So,
Coach, I'll leave you with this one. If you guys win on Friday night, you will do it by doing what?
I think just being consistent. Let's get rid of at least half of the penalties that we got. Because that hurt us. And if they just give forth their effort like they always do.
Well, Coach, thank you as always. We appreciate you making the time during the week. I know the folks out there enjoy hearing your thoughts on the team. And best of luck here tomorrow against the Knoch Knights.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you next time here on High Top Sports Network.
We're back here on the High Top Sports Network. You're listening to WPIAL football on the High Top Sports Network. The Freeport Yellowjackets in the Knoch Knights, just about 9 minutes away from kickoff. I'm Adam Morganti. Joining me is Mason Flankin. You just heard our pregame interviews with both coaches, with Freeport head coach John Gaylott and Knoch head coach Brandon Mowry. Once again, both these teams come into this matchup 0-1, losing their Week 0 games. Freeport lost to Armstrong 48-14, and Knoch lost to Central Valley 62-0. So this is Week 1 non-conference game. Both teams have a handful of non-conference games before they get into section play. So for Freeport, after this game, they have 2 more non-conference games before they get into their section schedule. And actually for Knoch, they have 1 more non-conference game before they get into its conference schedule. So, Mason, give me a player on each team that you're looking for in this matchup, like impact players.
Oh, well, Adam, I'm going to give you Garrett King. I think he's going to come and have a breakout game, as he's got all the tools. He's putting in the work. He showed some signs of life, some good signs of life against Armstrong, 69 passing yards, and he got a touchdown pass in, even though he was mismatched. He didn't have a lot of time to throw. So I think if the offensive line gives him some room, he can make some things happen. Now, let's look at Knoch. I'm going to go Keegan Frazier. Not a lot of offense, as you mentioned earlier in the first segment. He had most of the offensive yards for the Knights. Well, guess what? It's a whole different matchup. He's got another chance to go out and redeem himself. He can have maybe 100, 150 yards. That's what I'm thinking, and probably a touchdown or 2.
Yeah, for me, for Freeport, it's probably arguably their best skill player. It's Ben Lane. He had a 94-yard kickoff return last week for Freeport. He runs the ball for them. He catches the ball for them. So look for Ben Lane to be getting a lot of touches for this Freeport offense as we have the national anthem coming up here.
There you have it, the national anthem by the Knoch Night Marching Band.
Yeah, great rendition. It's always good to hear the bands playing the national anthem as we get into their alma mater. But I said Ben Lane, player look out for Freeport. For Knoch, I'm going to go with, I believe, the same player I went with last week, Carson Kosecki, the transfer from North Catholic at quarterback. And Knoch, they only had one passing attempt last week against Central Valley, so it'll be curious to see if they're going to try to air it out more, if they're going to go with the same offense. There was a lot of jet sweep motion in their offense last week, and there was also a lot of design runs for Kosecki, and he really had nowhere to go in that game.
Yeah, and it seems like Knoch just tries to be unpredictable. If I know you saw the game in person, so you could say better than anybody, but it just seems like they're going to keep Freeport guessing, as they have two passing attempts from last week. You know, maybe they up it to 4 or 5 this week. They complete 1 or 2 of those, and you catch them trying to think you're going to run the ball. You end up to maybe a pretty good first down. 15, 20 yards. You never know. That's what keeping a team guessing to do. It ends up being a big play, and a big play can decide a game.
Yeah, now both teams are getting ready to enter onto the field. Freeport at the end zone to our right, and Knoch coming out of the inflatable football helmet at the end zone.
Yeah, how about that helmet as you
right
see it
now.
on the screen right now? I have not seen anything like that at a high school football game. That is something.
I haven't either. So here come the Yellowjackets once again coming into this game 0-1, led by head coach John Gaylott. This is his 14th year as head coach of Freeport, the longest tenured Alakiski Valley head coach. He has a record of 75-52 coming in to this game as we will pause now and hear the Knoch starting lineup.
Number 2, Carson Kosecki. At running back, number 5, Keegan Ranger. At offensive tackle, number 51, Nick Davis. At offensive guard, number 74, Nevin Peart. At center, number 57, Matt Carney. At offensive guard, number 70, Alex Cotton. At offensive guard, number 62, Logan Lund. And now,
And here come the Knoch Knights. Again, they come into this game with a record of 0-1. They're led by their head coach, Brandon Mallory. He is in his third season as the head coach of the Knoch Knights with a record of 6-2. And one thing I also want to mention from Freeport from their game last week, Mason, is they had 10 penalties for 118 yards, including a key penalty in the first drive of the game that you heard from Coach John Gaylott. So what do you think contributed to some of those penalties? Maybe first game jitters where
that could be it, yeah.
a little rusty. So what do you what did you see from that game last week that attributed to all these penalties?
Well, yeah, that first drive, as you mentioned, three straight first downs on 3 straight plays. That penalty, that just hurts you for getting into the end zone. That, as you know, you take away 1 or 2 first downs from giving up a couple penalty yards, then that takes away a couple touchdowns or a couple scores off the board. It sucks the motivation out of your team, and then the penalties hurt Freeport before the cramps, and in that way, that might have hurt them more.
Yeah, and going in the officials for tonight's game, the head referee is Chuck Russledge, the umpire is Russell Haley, head line judge Chris Healy, line judge Mackenzie Quinn, fullback judge is Scott Carson, and the side judge will be William Quinn. Those are your officials for tonight. Captains for tonight's game for Knoch, Keegan Frazier, Alex Cotton, Luke Goodling, and last but not least, Logan Clem. The captains for Knoch, as I get that mixed up.
Now looking across the field, I see Garrett King as Logan Jędrowski, his brother, a Westminster College guy like me. I believe that is Cole Charlton in between the two, and the last one would be Jackson Reiser. He had the lone touchdown catch last week at Freeport for the Yellowjackets, and here we go. We'll get to the coin toss.
Yeah, I was actually going to wait, Mason, until they got closer to the field, but you obviously got better eyesight than me. I wasn't going to try to completely guess who they were and get those wrong, but yeah, you do look right on who the captains are.
Hey, I'll take the compliment all day. So we go. A chance for 2 teams to come back after a tough week 0, and we'll play it over a freshwater fish trophy. How about that?
Yep, the Pike Bowl playing for the Pike Trophy. Once again, Pike Road is the main highway from Freeport and Knox school districts. They border each other. We'll have the result here, the coin toss.
Yeah, that trophy, it's literally a pike, like you caught it out of a lake. They put it in like a wooden box, like preserved it, like. And then the winning team will get to keep that trophy within their school for the next year until these 2 teams play again. So the craziest looking trophy you've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out on our High Top Sports Network Twitter feed.
Yeah, Knoch will receive the opening kickoff. And before we go to kickoff, last 2 times these teams met, they met in 2019 at Freeport. Freeport won that game 34-31. They also met here in Saxonburg. 2018, Knoch won that game 26-7. Before that, the last time these 2 teams played was 2005. Knoch won that game in 05, 14-7, and then Freeport won in 2004, 16-0. So a little bit of a rubber match, I guess you can call it. And back deep to receive for Knoch is Kaseki, Johnson, and Frazier. And Vinnie Clark will do the kicking duties for Freeport at his own 40-yard line, going from right to left.
Yeah, Vinnie Clark, another player to watch, is definitely an explosive wide receiver. We want to keep an eye out for him. With him and Garrett King, if their connection hooks up like a good Wi-Fi connection, you never know. He could be putting in a couple touchdowns on the board as well.
We are underway here from Knoch High School. A deep kick. Johnson takes about the 10. He now goes up past 20, 25, and that is where he will be tackled. Multiple Yellowjackets in on that play, including Zach Clark and Justin Jack on special teams coverage for Freeport. Knoch will take over at his own 25-yard line. Carson Kosecki, the quarterback for the Knights offense.
Listen, and I don't want to say a terrible field position to start off for the Knights, but, definitely back deep a little bit. You got a long field to go. That first down will be the key to this.
Kosecki will start out in the shotgun. Bobbles it, fumble, hits the ground, and Freeport might have the ball.
Yeah, well, how about that turn of events? How about that? First play of the game, you just turned the ball over.
Yeah, really disaster striking early for Knoch. Recovering the ball is Freeport. They'll take over at the Knoch 26-yard line. And Kosecki just never got a clean hold of the snap, or it's actually the Knoch 21-yard line, excuse me. As leading the offense for Freeport is Garrett King at quarterback. He'll be in the pistol.
Everybody back healthy after the cramps last week.
Now the give is to Ben Lane, and he gets nowhere on that carry. Lose about 1 yard on the play. Second down and 11 at the Knoch 22. Just no chance for anywhere for Ben Lane to go on that run.
Yeah, once again, it looks like that offensive line has to do a better job. They got to find a route for him to run, or you've got to give a good block and get that outside edge. There's just nothing there for Lane.
King now, he pitches. Now it's Ben Lane. He cuts back now to the far side of the field. He has a block. He'll get the first down and more, and he will dive into the end zone. What do they call? Touchdown, Freeport. Ben Lane goes 22 yards. Great creativity by him. He started off to the left. He cuts back, gets a block from his quarterback, Garrett King, and he's able to lunge into the end zone for the 22-yard rushing touchdown. So Freeport makes Knoch pay on the turnover. 6-0 Yellowjackets here with 11:06 remaining in the opening quarter.
I was going to say, Adam, if you did not get that Garrett King block, he gets nowhere close to that end zone without that block. So that's a heads-up quarterback there, putting his body on the line for his team. How about that?
Vinnie Clark will be on to attempt the extra point. Zach Clark, the holder. Good snap, good hold. That kick is up, and that kick is through. And early on here in the first quarter from Knoch High School, Freeport leads Knoch 7-0 on that 22-yard rushing touchdown from Ben Lane, and that's coming off the Carson Kosecki fumble on the first play from scrimmage. This Ben Lane's second touchdown of the season, as he had a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown last week for Freeport. And yeah, not the start you wanted for Knoch at all.
Well, as we talked before the game, we kind of figured this could go one of two ways. We expected the Freeport was going to come out. They have all the tools there. They got the leadership. They've got the athleticism. They've got it all together. It's just, can they put it all together and be healthy after that week 0 loss against the Knoch? Or if they're not healthy enough, will Knoch be able to respond?
Kosecki, Frazier, and Johnson back. They're at their own about 5-yard line. Clark will kick off for Freeport. Here's the run up in the boot. High kick, and it'll land into the end zone for the touchback. Hopefully for Knoch, a better start for their first offensive possession besides a fumble, as Knoch will take over at its own 20-yard line with Freeport up 7-0, 11:06 remaining in the first quarter, as they got the opening touchdown from Ben Lane, 22-yard rushing touchdown. Kosecki will come out in the shotgun once again. Wing T offense. Kosecki takes his snap. He gives up the middle to Frazier. He's able to carry the pile for a few yards. Looks like they'll give him 6 yards on the play.
Well, already better than the first drive, we could say, huh? A tough start for Knoch. Now they're almost to a first down. Was it 1 or 2 first downs they had in week 1 against Central Valley?
Only had 2. It'll be 2nd now and 4 for Knoch. Empty goes Kosecki. QB run right up the middle. He has a first down and much more as he is tackled at about the 39-yard line. Tackled by Ben Lane on the play on Freeport. First down for Knoch and a good 2 plays to start off this drive. As that was just a design QB run from Kaseki.
Yeah, credit to the offensive line there. They were able to make a block. It looked like the defense thought he was going to go the other way, but he cut up to his left, and there was nobody there to stop him. Luckily, we have safeties.
Kaseki now gives to Frazier, and he really has nowhere to go on that play. He'll get to about back to the line of scrimmage is all that they will give him. Multiple Yellowjackets in on the stop. It'll be 2nd and 10. Now coming into the game for Knoch is Luke Goodling.
Not going to fall for the same play twice.
7-0 Freeport leads, 9:40 remaining here in the first quarter. Kaseki in the gun. Goodling now goes in motion. Now give is to Johnson coming towards the near side of the field, and he has nothing there on the play. Gets maybe a yard. Great read on the play. Making the tackle is Zach Clark, the 5'9", 160-pound junior. And, yeah, all he gets on that play is 1 yard, bringing up a 3rd and 9 at the 40-yard line of Knoch for the Knoch Knights offense.
Well, you can convert here on 3rd and long. You're in a great spot to maybe get some momentum going. A good Knoch home crowd can really drive this team down the field.
Now here's the Sam Kaseki, and he will take it himself, but he's absolutely devoured in the backfield on the play. Great job by the Freeport defense. Cole Charlton in on the stop. It'll be a 4th and long as there's a flag on the play. Look for the first penalty of the game. Chuck Rustledge is our head referee.
Now remember, Adam, Freeport got hurt by penalties early in the game last week. But that penalty's against Knoch. There's 2 penalties. They're negated.
Yeah, personal foul against Knoch. That'll back him up even more, and Freeport chooses to decline. We'll bring up 4th down and 16.
Got the punt unit coming out. Freeport's defense, what a job that was. Kaseki had no chance. There was 3 defenders all over him.
Brendan Trusani now on the punt for Knoch. Vinny Clark and Ben Lane are back to receive for Freeport. Here's the punt. It's a high line drive. It'll take Freeport bounce. It'll bounce forward past the 40-yard line, and it will die down at the Freeport 41-yard line. That's where Freeport will take over. Freeport leads 7-0 with 8:16 remaining here in the first quarter of play in the Pike Bowl. This Week 1 non-conference game between neighboring schools, Freeport and Knoch. On Freeport's first drive, they had excellent field position at the Knoch 21, and they made no mistake with that as Ben Lane took it for a 22-yard rushing touchdown. Freeport has decent field position to start here as Garrett King in the pistol. As Ben Lane now flanks out. Now King design run. He keeps it himself. He goes up the middle, and he will get about 5 yards on the play. He's marked down at the 46-yard line. Bring up 2nd and 5 for Freeport offense.
You got to watch out. Garrett King, definitely a dual-threat quarterback. You have to watch. He's got the arm, but he's also got the wheels.
Yeah, King last week, he did have 10 carries, but only for 17 yards. But keep in mind, in high school football, sacks do account in that stat. 2nd and 5 for Freeport. Ball at its own 46-yard line as they break huddle.
They said somebody's helmet popped off there. It was King's.
Ben Lane in the Wildcat, he'll take it himself and he'll tiptoe out of bounds and really just get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, shout out to Jake DeLuke. He noticed Garrett King's helmet popped off. He had to spend a play on the sideline. The roll of thumb there.
Yeah, and Ben Lane, they'll actually give him looks like 1 yard on the play. Now it's at the Freeport 47. As Ben Lane, he did play quarterback last year for Garrett King, so he's plenty of experience. And if Freeport has any trick plays up their sleeve, look for Ben Lane to maybe throw. As he did have a pass attempt last week in that game. 3rd and 4 for Freeport. King back in there in the pistol, Lane behind him. They go 3 wide. King now takes his snap. He's back to throw. Now he runs up the middle, keeping it himself. He gets a first down up into Knoch territory. The ball comes out. Was he down or not? See what the officials mark.
Fumble on the play. McGowan with the recovery.
It was recovered by Gavin McGowan.
Gavin McGowan with the fumble recovery, and he looked a little bit down to me. It looked like it was a late fumble, but Knoch the Knoch defense answers with a turnover of its own, as Knoch has a turnover and Freeport has a turnover. Knoch takes over in great field position, 1st and 10 at its own 48-yard line.
Both teams with a tragic lost fumble early on.
As now the flag looks like we're going to get Knoch player false start on the play. 2nd penalty of the game. Both of them going on Knoch. Yeah, it looked like that was Keegan Frazier, the guilty party for the Knights. He just went forward right before the ball was snapped. We definitely tell up here. Freeport leads 7-0. 7:10 remaining in the opening quarter. Freeport got its touchdown on a Ben Lane 22-yard rushing score. 1st and 15 now. Knoch has it at its own 43-yard line. Kosecki in the gun. Frazier flanks to his left. Kosecki now takes a snap. He gives it up to Frazier, and he bounces towards the middle. He gets a couple of yards on the play.
Freeport all over these simple rushing plays, like the triple option is what you call it, I believe. That's what it looks like to me. They're all over it. That's something I noticed. When you run plays like that, you have to watch. The defense can adapt really, really quickly. As these linebackers get a hole, they run right up and swallow up whoever's got the ball in.
Alderman made the tackle there for Freeport. 2nd and 15 for Knoch. Now Johnson goes in motion for Knoch, and now the give is to Frazier. He has a little bit of a hole up the middle, gets up past the 45-yard line. Making the tackle for Freeport is Aiden Lindsay. Gain of 4. Bring up 3rd and 11 for the Knoch Knights. Ball at, call it the 47-yard line of Knoch. As Knoch, they got this good field position on a fumble by Freeport quarterback Garrett King. Making the recovery was Gavin McGowan. 3rd and 11 for Knoch. They have not attempted to pass so far in this game. Will they do it now? Kosecki in the gun. Now a little trickery here. As looking to throw the ball was Sobolski, but he is tripped up in the backfield at the 45-yard line. Great read on that play. Making that read was Otterman. As Sobolski, who played quarterback last year for Knoch, it was just great coverage. No one open downfield. Bring up 4th and long for the Knights, as Brendan Tristani will be standing at his own 30-yard line to punt the ball away to Vinnie Clark in Ben Lane. Clark is at about his own 28, and Ben Lane is deep right about the 25. Here's the punt. There's a line drive right at Ben Lane, and he will catch it on a dead run, and he'll bounce out towards the near sideline, and he will be pushed out of bounds. It'll be 1st and 10 for Freeport. Forcing him out of bounds for Knoch was the sophomore Bennett Shaw. Freeport leads 7-0 with 5 minutes left here in the first quarter of play. Freeport's 3rd drive of the game. Last drive resulted in a Garrett King fumble. Freeport has it at its own 38-yard line. Big crowds on hand for both Freeport and Knoch. Both student sections are represented greatly on both sides.
You love to see those student sections, by the way. It's great to see.
Now the give is to Ben Lane. He has nowhere to go. He'll lose about 2 yards on the play. McGowan making the stop for the Knoch Knights. It'll be 2nd and 12 for Freeport. Ball at its own 36-yard line. Once again, this is called the Pike Bowl for Pike Road, which goes through Freeport and Knoch school districts. Both teams coming into this game 0-1. Freeport losing Armstrong 48-14. Knoch losing to Central Valley last week 62-0. 2nd and 12 now for Freeport. King in the pistol with Lane in the backfield. King now pitches to Lane and he tries to bounce outside. There's a flag on play now, cuts back in the middle. And we'll get down at about the 40-yard line. Making the tackle is Keegan Frazier. Flag, though, in the backfield area, so that usually means it might be holding. We'll see what the officials call. We're waiting for the call from Chuck Rustledge.
It's while they're making the call, I was starting to stammer on about the student sections. That's something about a high school football that I just love. I loved it back in high school. I really miss it. We got the construction crew down here on the Knoch side. All kinds of bright neon yellows and oranges. You love to see those themes. No real theme on the Freeport side, but it's still a nice representation for them.
Yeah, I believe their student section is a beach theme as holding call on Freeport. That'll back them up.
I see it now, the beach.
It'll be 2nd and 24 now. Ball at its own 24-yard line for Freeport. King once again remains in the pistol. Now he rolls to his left, and he throws back down the middle, throws up a lollipop up for grabs, and it's caught at the 40-yard line of Knoch. Making that catch for Freeport, Brady Stuyvesant. Great leaping grab, and it just felt like that ball was in the air for forever. But Freeport comes down with it. Stuyvesant comes down with it, makes a great leaping grab for Freeport. 1st and 10 for Freeport at the Knoch 39-yard line.
Yeah, the best thing about that is King was about a half a second away from the ground. He, as a defender, was right there with a shoulder ready to tackle him to the ground. He might have even been hit before that, too.
King now in the pistol. He turns and he gives to Zach Clark, as he really doesn't have much room to go. Pick up about 1 yard on the play. Move it up to the Knoch 38. Will be 2nd and 9. Freeport leads 7-0 on a Ben Lane 22-yard rushing touchdown on Freeport's opening drive.
Both teams have had a hard to swallow fumble loss so far.
King now in the pistol. Back to third. Now he will keep himself. He runs up the middle. He gets past the inside the 30, and he will have the first down yardage down at the Knoch 26-yard line. Carney made the tackle for the Knights, but another first down for Freeport, as looked like for a second King was going to run it, but then it was just a quarterback draw, as once again he does have that running ability. It'll be 1st and 10 for Freeport with about 3 minutes left here in this open quarter. Freeport up by a touchdown, as Freeport, they like their dual threat quarterbacks, as we've seen throughout the past. Now King in the pistol turns, gives Ben Lane, but he is absolutely swallowed in the backfield. There to greet him rudely for Knoch is Jack Murphy, the 6'1", 220-pound junior. Loss of 2 on the play. Bring it back to the Knoch 28-yard line. As really, Mason, besides that touchdown run for Ben Lane, he hasn't had much of anywhere to go so far in this quarter.
No, only one run for positive yardage, which was just 1 yard. So really, nothing, no actual gain. Anything other than that, it's been for negative yardage.
2nd and 12 for the Yellowjackets. King now. Back to throw. Now he steps up and he will be sacked on the play. The first guy in on that sack is Alex Cotton, the 6'1", 210-pound senior. Actually, that won't be a sack, as King carried him for an extra yard. So good job from King on that play to make something out of nothing. Now it's 3rd down and 11. Ball at the Knoch 27-yard line.
Well, that'll give King 16 yards running on the ground. Yeah, I know. I think they're targeting Ben Lane. They know if he has the ball, he's running. You have to stop him. You can't let him across the line of scrimmage.
Play clock now down the 4. King now, he rolls to his right now, cuts back the other way, and he throws down the middle. He is man open the end zone. That is caught for a touchdown. Brady Stuyvesant goes 27 yards, making the leaping grab. He had a key catch in this drive. He makes that touchdown reception, making it 13-0 Freeport, a minute 22 left in the first quarter.
Both of those big aired out throws by King, both of them went to Stuyvesant, both 27-yarders from my count. So, wow, what you need a big play, you go to Stuyvesant.
Yeah, not an easy throw there to make from Garrett King as he was going across his body, almost had to contort his body in a weird way, but that was an accurate throw there as Stuyvesant was wide open. Clark now on to attempt the extra point, but there is a flag. It looks like someone from Knoch jumped offsides. Looked like that was Kaseki, the guilty party. Yeah, but it'll be offsides on Knoch. And they'll move the ball about a half yard. So now, with it being closer, does Freeport go for 2 here?
Well, see, not a lot of success for Ben Lane so far today. He did have the 22-yard touchdown run, but other than that, he's got no yardage at all, if not negative yardage. As a matter of fact, if my math is correct, him and Garrett King are 1 yard apart.
And Freeport won't be going for 2, and we'll go on to attempt the extra point. Will be Vinnie Clark. Zach Clark, the holder. Good snap, good hold. That kick is up. And that kick is true. With a minute 22 remaining in the opening quarter, Freeport leads Knoch 14-0 as you're listening to WPIAL football on the High Top Sports Network. Let's get a quick word from one of our sponsors. Sprinkles Neighborhood Market, located at 27 West Water Street in Saxonburg, has been making quality meat a family tradition since 1999. Sprinkles takes pride in delivering the best prices around while providing the best overall value for their customers by offering the widest range of items, the highest quality and freshness, the most organized and cleanest shopping environment, and the friendliest associates. Make sure to visit www.sprinklersoktoberfest.com for tickets to the festival, which runs September 10th through the 12th, so next weekend. And remember to always check out Sprinkles' Facebook page to #SaveOnMeat.
I keep hearing nothing but compliments about their sushi bar. I'm not a big seafood eater, but I hear that that's just amazing. You know, good for them. They made it work. You wouldn't think sushi would be a big seller around Armstrong County, but hey.
Here's a kick now from Clark. It is going to bounce into the end zone. Will be touchback as Knoch will take over once again from its own 20-yard line. Second touchback for Vinnie Clark in this game.
Let's see, Knoch, they've lost a fumble on their first drive. They had a little bit of success. They had a first down, but after 5 plays they punted. And then on their last drive it was a 3-and-out. So we'll see if they get something going here on their 4th drive here in the first quarter.
Yeah, they were able to move the ball a little bit, but a gadget play didn't work. That got them back on their last drives. But 1st and 10 here for Kaseki and the Knoch Knights. Design run as he'll run towards the near side, but he's going to get nowhere, be taken down for a loss. Vinnie Clark, the first Freeport Yellowjacket in on that play.
He went to his right and was just greeted by Vinnie Clark. He tried to cut back to his left, but there was nobody. The Knoch Knight got stung on that one.
2nd and 12 for Knoch. Ball at its own 18-yard line. Now we approach less than a minute, 54 seconds left in the opening quarter. Freeport leads 14-0. Kaseki in the gun. Play clock now down to 7. Now Kaseki, he gives it to Frazier, and he's going to be taken down rudely on the play, bringing up 3rd and long, as he will get 1 yard. It'll be 3rd and 11 for Knoch as Knoch finds himself in 3rd and long again, a problem they got themselves in last week against Central Valley. They have not converted a 3rd down so far in this game as 11 seconds left, play clock, 16 seconds. So we'll see if Knoch decides to run a play here. And they won't. It'll bring us to the end of the first quarter with Freeport leading Knoch 14-0 as you are listening to WPIAL football on the High Top Sports Network. We're back here at Knoch High School to start the second quarter. Freeport leads Knoch 14-0. Freeport got their touchdowns. First drive of the game, 22-yard rushing touchdown from Ben Lane. Their second touchdown was a 27-yard receiving touchdown, Brady Stevenson from Garrett King on its 3rd drive of the game. Knoch faces now a 3rd and long at its own 19-yard line. The Pike Bowl, the first time these two teams have met where they've called it the Pike Bowl. 3rd and long, Kaseki in the gun for the Knights. As Sweet Caroline plays in the background. Kaseki now, he gives to Frazier. He goes up the middle. He's going to be nowhere close to the first down. He's brought down about 22.
Like
Fumble on the play, but the official comes in, says he was down first. Reiser makes the tackle for the Yellowjackets. Only pick up gain of 2 yards on the play. 4th and 9 for Knoch. So the punter for Knoch, Trisani, will be back again, punting, and waiting for the kick will be Ben Lane and Vinny Clark. They're at their own 48-yard line, as Lane and Clark is at the Knoch 49-yard line. Trisani busy so far in this game. It's a block on the play. Freeport picks it up and goes in the end zone for the touchdown. Logan Jędrzejewski with that block. He just had a free rein on the punter Tristani and gets the easy touchdown, 20-0.
The center.
Freeport over Knoch.
The big center. The big center, 6'2", 230-pound senior. That punter stood no chance. He absorbed the blow of the football being kicked right into his chest. He picked it up and ran it. There's no way they stopped him.
Yeah, you would think a big guy, they just tell you to fall on it, but no, he saw the end zone and he scooped it up cleanly and was able to take that for a touchdown. Now Vinny Clark on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, but before that there is a flag. As Jędrzejewski, after scoring that on that punt block, he will be the long snapper as well. Looks like Knoch jumped off sides again.
Well, if anything, I know his brother's been working as a bodybuilder / powerlifter. I know that Jędrzejewski down there. He's got a good trainer. Logan's got a good trainer.
Clark's kick is no good as it hits the right upright, so Freeport starts the second quarter out with a bang on that Jędrzejewski blocked punt for a touchdown as Freeport leads 20-0. Yeah, Jędrzejewski, he was on the offensive line for Freeport and defensive line. So just like his older brother, Logan Jędrzejewski, making big plays for this Freeport special teams unit. And second special teams touchdown for Freeport on the year, as Ben Lane had a 94-yard return touchdown last week in their loss against Armstrong. As Vinnie Clark will set the tee and get the ball in the air from his own 40-yard line. Kasecki, Frazier, and Johnson back deep for Knoch. They will be at their about own 5-yard line as Clark has back-to-back touchbacks for the Yellowjackets.
Yeah, we know Logan's got a good trainer, a good personal trainer in Bobby.
Clark now with the run-up, puts his foot through it, and this one will be returnable. Johnson gets it on the bounce. He's up past the 15, 20, 25, and he will be down at his own 29-yard line. Pretty good return there from Xavier Johnson for the Knights. The 6'1", 165-pound sophomore.
It's a flag on the play. He did find some running room on that far side.
Yeah, there's some. Looks like they're gonna take the flag down. As our cameraman Jake DeLuca pointed out, there was some talking going on. I guess when you have two schools that border each other, you'd think there would be a little bit of trash talk going on. 1st and 10 though for Knoch, ball at its own 29-yard line. They have not attempted a pass in this game so far, so even on 3rd and long. So keep in mind, if they get in 3rd and long, will they continue to keep the ball on the ground, or will they air it out with Kasecki? Kasecki in the gun. Low snap. He's able to pick it off the grass and make something out of nothing. He will get 1 yard on play as he fumbled the first play of the game, but he's able to recover that one. Will be gain of 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8. Knoch has the ball at its own 31-yard line.
Kasecki does have a 10-yard run on the day, so he has proven his wheels. He's also had tragedy. That first play of the game.
2nd and 8 for the Knights. Freeport leads 20-0 here early second quarter. Kasecki now gives it to Frazier. He goes up the middle. He gets past the 35, and he'll be down at the 35. We'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for Knoch.
And talk about consistency from Frazier. I don't have a negative. I don't have him rushing for negative yards yet tonight, Adam.
Yeah, something you want from your lead running back. Garrett King made that stop for Freeport. 3rd and 4 for Knoch, looking for its first 3rd down conversion. They have the ball at its own 35-yard line. Looking to get back into this game. Kasecki now gives it to Frazier. He has a 1st down and much more. Up past the 45, and he will be down at his own 49-yard line. Needed 4, got 14, 1st down, Knoch Knights.
I was going to tell you his longest run of the night was 6 yards, but I think a 14 is much better. And now Knoch has something going for him. We'll see if they can keep it up. I say you keep handing the ball off to Frazier.
Yeah, their first 3rd down conversion of this game and of the season, as they didn't have a conversion last week against Central Valley. Now Kasecki calls Frazier to get back in the backfield with him. Kasecki now gives it to Frazier once again, but he's going to be greeted immediately in the backfield back at the Knoch 46-yard line. Logan Jędrzejewski was there to greet him, the first Yellow Jacket there, as he had that blocked punt return for a touchdown the last time Knoch tried to punt the ball. Loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13. Knoch has the ball at its own 46-yard line. Freeport leads 20-0 with 8:48 remaining in this first half. 2nd and 13. That wing T formation. Johnson now goes in motion. The give is assuming goes towards the near sideline. and he will be tackled for another loss. There's a flag on the play. Garrett King, Ben Lane were in on that tackle. See what the call is. Looks like it's going to be against Knoch. It'll be a hold against the Knights.
Yeah, that was Xavier Johnson who ran the ball. The only Knoch Knight to catch a pass. He had 3 yards on the only passing completion last week. And so there's still a little bit of dual threat stuff going on. But we'll see when will the Knights switch out of this wing T triple option play style.
This will back the ball up to Knoch to its own 33-yard line. 2nd and long for the Knights. As they had something going, that just gets voided with a big penalty. Kaseki now in the gun with Frazier. A man goes in motion. That's Goodling. Bad snap, as Kaseki's just all he's able to do is able to fall on it. As some bad snaps so far from Knoch. That'll back them up even more. It'll be 3rd down in 23 for Knoch. As Frazier had a good run on 3rd down, but that's just been negated by a run for a loss, and now another bad run by a penalty, now by a fumbled snap.
Well, yeah, that could have been the first time that Knoch could have crossed the 50-yard line. Now, they got close one other time on a 3-and-out drive.
3rd and a country mile for Knoch. Kaseki now, he'll just run it up the middle himself, and he really has nowhere to go. Loses about 1 yard on the play.
4th down.
Bring out 4th, and let's just say that, to exaggerate the distance it is from Freeport to Knoch for how long this 4th down is. As the last time Knoch was in this situation, Logan Jędrzejewski blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown. Tristani, the punt for Knoch at his own 6-yard line. Lane and Clark back deep for Freeport. This time he gets it off cleanly. Good block there. Calling for the fair catch is Ben Lane, and he will make that fair catch at his own 48-yard line as Freeport leads Knoch 20-0 with 6:38 remaining in the second quarter. Last time Freeport was on offense, Garrett King threw a beautiful 27-yard touchdown pass to Brady Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant, the 5'7", 135-pound sophomore. Garrett King, the 6'1", 195-pound senior. Yeah, so Freeport's drives, they had a Ben Lane 22-yard rushing touchdown on its opening drive. The next drive was a Garrett King fumble recovered by Knoch by Nagawan, and then that touchdown pass to Stuyvesant. Now King comes out in the pistol. As Freeport gets Knoch to jump.
Ooh, that's a false start that'll hurt. Knoch, when they have something going, they get hurt by the penalties. So they've got hurt by the penalties in general tonight. It's just making it worse that the running game just isn't working as well as they'd like it to.
Yeah, Freeport had 10 penalties last week. They have been penalty-free so far in this game. Now 1st and 5 for Freeport, but we have a timeout from head coach by Knoch, Brandon Mowry, his first timeout of the half. He has 2 remaining. Freeport still has all 3 of its timeouts. Let's talk about Coach Brandon Mowry. This is his 3rd season as head coach at Knoch High School. He has a record of 6-12. Before he was head coach at Knoch, he was still on the coaching staff at Knoch High School. He's been an assistant coach with the Knights since 2004, so he was on the sideline when Freeport beat Knoch 16-0 in 2004. He was the assistant coach for offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and linebackers. In his day job, he's an analyst for U.S. Office of Personnel Management Retirement Operations Center, so that is some information on Brandon Mowry. Once again, Freeport leads 20-0, 6:38 remaining in the second quarter. And we'll say it again. This is called the Pike Bowl. The first time these two teams have played, we're calling the Pike Bowl. They're playing for the Pike Trophy, where whoever wins this game will get to keep the trophy at their respective school for a full year. And it's called the Pike Bowl because they have Pike Road, which is the main highway through Freeport and Knoch school districts. As both teams are back from timeout, Freeport has it 1st and 5 at the Knoch 47-yard line after the offsides penalty. King now back to throw a screen pass to Zach Clark. As really nothing much going there, as he'll lose 2 yards on the play. Brought down on the play by by Murphy. Great read there on that screen play to make it 2nd and 7 for Freeport. Still having it in Knoch territory at the 49-yard line.
Zach Clark with the reception. Good. That's some great connections there between King and Clark to make a little bit out of almost nothing. Only a loss of 2 instead of what would have been a loss of 7 or 8 yards, as he was back behind the original first down marker.
King now gives it to Clark, and he'll lose even more yards on the play. Murphy in on that play for Knoch. Luke Goodling also made the tackle. Another loss now. Freeport will be in its own territory. It'll be 3rd down and long for Freeport. Lost 4 on the play. 3rd down in 11. Ball at the Freeport 47-yard line for Freeport. Freeport up 20-0 in this non-conference game, Week 1 of WPIAL football that you're listening to on the High Top Sports Network. Adam Morganti and Mason Flanagan on the call. Jake DeLuca running camera. Play clock now down the 1 as to avoid a penalty. Head coach for Freeport, John Gaylott, will call a timeout. Now, since we talked about Coach Brandon Mallory, we'll also talk about head coach John Gaylott for Freeport. This is his 14th season as head coach, the longest tenured head coach in the Alley-Kiski Valley. He has a record of 75 and 72. And under Coach Gaylott, Freeport has 3 section championships in 9 playoff appearances. Those section championships came in 2011, 2012, and 2015. And Freeport also has 3 playoff wins under Coach Gaylott. They beat Jeanette in 2010, and then they lost to South Fayette in the second round that year. Then in 2015, they beat McGuffey in the first round. Then they beat Washington in the second round. That was actually their last playoff win in 2015 against Washington, 24-14. And then that year they lost to Aliquippa in the semifinals, 36-14. But Freeport has been very successful under head coach John Gaylott in his tenure. And forgot to mention for Knoch, Coach Brandon Mallory, he was assistant coach on that 2011 WPIAL championship team for Knoch that lost to Montour. 3rd and long, 3rd and 11 for Freeport. Ball at its own 47-yard line. 5:08 to go in the second quarter. King now back to throw, as he will step up and get some positive yardage and avoid the sack, who brought down on his own 49-yard line. Will bring up 4th down for Freeport as King loses his helmet. Flag on the play.
Second time he's lost his helmet so far today.
Decent amount of penalties in this game. All of them have been against Knoch. We have personal foul face mask against Knoch. Another penalty. Knoch can't get any breaks so far in this game, so that'll give Freeport the 1st down. And that'll be 15-yard penalty, and they'll move it to the Knoch 36. So really big point in this game, Mason. Knoch comes up with a stop on 3rd down, but with the face mask, it gives Freeport a fresh set of downs.
The score update from some of our other broadcasts. Armstrong, who's playing at Deer Lakes back at the Hawks Nest, is leading 14-6, and Kiski leading 10-7 over Franklin Regional.
Ben Lane now with the direct Wildcat snap, and he will be out of bounds, and he'll get the 1st down and much more at the Knoch 11-yard line. Frazier pushed him out of bounds. We are 1st and 10 for Freeport, ball at the Knoch 11-yard line, gain of 25 yards on the play. Ben Lane had a 22-yard rushing touchdown, but he gets the Wildcat snap and takes it 25 yards as King had to go out in that play because he lost his helmet. As we saw that before early in this game, and same thing with Ben Lane, he took the direct Wildcat snap and picks up a 1st down for Freeport. Freeport looking to add to its lead. Lane now in the Wildcat again. King out as receivers. Lane hesitates now. He lowers the shoulder as he's down. The ball went out, but the ball went down first. He will be down at the Knoch 6-yard line. 2nd and 5 for Freeport, ball at the Knoch 6-yard line. Dylan Pinkerton, the 5'10", 155-pound freshman, made the stop for the Knights. So back-to-back plays for Freeport in the Wildcats.
Yeah, how about Kim? How about Lane just lowering the shoulder, nailing down a defender before getting a tackle? That gives him another yard or so. Something like that, and you got a big student section, that has to excite the crowd and excites your bench. Just wow. It's something you miss about this level of football, the physicality, especially these local rivalries. Both of these teams, we might know some people that go to Knoch or Freeport, but for this night, for this game, you hate the people on the other side. You want to win that, and then maybe you go out to eat at like a restaurant down the road somewhere.
Yeah, local rivalries are always best, as Freeport called its 2nd timeout of the half. They have 1 timeout remaining. Knoch has 2 timeouts remaining. Coming up at halftime, there'll be a press box dedication to Regis Sheebles, so stay tuned for that. And also at halftime, you'll hear from both marching bands, first from the Freeport Marching Band and then the Knoch Marching Band. Here's you're listening to WPIAL non-conference football on the High Top Sports Network between Knoch and Freeport. I'm Adam Morganti. Mason Flanagan on the call with me, and Jake DeLuca is on camera. 2nd and 6 for Freeport, ball at the Knoch 7-yard line, so Freeport can get a 1st down without a touchdown. King now back at the quarterback. Clark behind him. Now the toss is to Clark towards the far sideline. Now he cuts up the middle towards the goal line. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Freeport. Zach Clark, 7-yard touchdown as he started out wide going towards the far sideline, but he made an excellent cutback move towards the middle, showed that extra effort as he smelled the goal line, as he's in for the 7-yard touchdown. 26-0, Freeport, 3:45 remaining in the 2nd quarter.
How about Clark on that run? He had to have broken 2 or 3 ankles out there. As everybody thought he went to his left, and you thought he was going to run out toward the pylon. He just juked everybody. I think I got fooled a little bit.
Freeport
I'm
now.
sitting down. I think my ankle might be a little broken.
Freeport now going for 2. King now, he throws towards the end zone, and it is incomplete on the play. Jackson Reiser, the intended receiver for Freeport. Reiser had the touchdown for Freeport last week. Looked like he was talking a little bit to, looked like Xavier Johnson of Knoch, but still Freeport up 26-0 on after that touchdown from Zach Clark with 3:45 remaining in the 2nd quarter.
It's a local rivalry, Adam. These guys love each other.
Yeah, and to go over the scoring for Freeport, they start off on its opening drive. Ben Lane, a 22-yard rushing touchdown. 2nd touchdown was a 27-yard receiving touchdown from Brady Stevenson from Garrett King. And then the 3rd one was a Logan Jędrzejewski blocked punt for a touchdown. And Zach Clark had that 7-yard rushing touchdown. And also it's worth mentioning on that last drive from Freeport, Knoch had them stopped, but a face mask penalty on Knoch on Garrett King extended the Freeport drive. Kasecki, Frazier, and Johnson back deep for the Knights. They're at about their own 5-yard line. Vinnie Clark will kick it off for Freeport. It's a low liner taken by Johnson. As he fumbles it, now Frazier picks it up for Knoch, and he slips and falls at his own 19-yard line. So Knoch having trouble with the fumbles. They already have one fumble lost, and they've had other fumbles in this game that they've been able to pick up. 1st and 10, though, for Knoch, ball at its own 19-yard line.
A big part of special teams is fielding that ground ball cleanly. It's got a nice spin on it, and you have to read the bounce well, play it off the chest, catch it with both hands. You don't want to lose that. That's the worst feeling in the world to lose that, and it keeps rolling behind you.
Knoch waiting to get on the board with this drive. Kasecki now, he will take the quarterback run, but he is eaten up in the backfield on the play as he'll be taken down for a loss of a couple yards on the play, bringing up 2nd and 12. Ball at the Knoch 17-yard line. As Knoch has once again not attempted a pass in this game at all. They only have one pass attempt this whole season.
You've got a wide receiver, Taylor King, hustling out onto the field.
26-0 approaching under 3 minutes to go here in this first half. Kasecki now gives it to Frazier. Goes up the middle. Lunges to his own 24-yard line. We'll bring him about a 3rd and medium for the Knights.
As Frazier's only been stopped in the backfield once. That time it was a run of 7, his second longest of the night.
3rd and 6 now. Ball at the Knoch 23-yard line. Knoch has one 3rd down conversion in this game. 3rd medium here. 2:20 left in the second quarter. Freeport leads 26-0. Kasecki waiting for the snap. As he'll cut it outside to the far side of the field, but he'll be tackled short of the 1st down. As good job of Kasecki bouncing it outside, but Freeport defenders were there waiting as we're now under 2 minutes, minute 57 left. 4th down for Knoch. It'll be 4th and 2. In Freeport, they have one timeout left. They're going to let the clock wind down as they will receive the second half kickoff. Trissani is back to punt. Lane and Stuyvesant back deep for Freeport looking to receive the kick.
Here's a timeout by Knoch. Coach Mowry walking out onto the field. It's a tough part about when you run all these running plays. The clock works against you, and the first half will be over before you know it.
Interesting decision, too, by Knoch to call a timeout because 4th and 2, maybe the only way they call a timeout is to contemplate about going for it, but they're at its own 27-yard line. I don't think they'd go for it, but that just saves time for Freeport as a minute 26 left. Freeport only has one timeout, and they get the ball to start the second half. So if Freeport wants to try to score before halftime, Knoch just help them out with that timeout.
You try to get this 1st down, and then you'll get another set of downs. You can run that minute 26 off the clock, and there's always hope of scoring a touchdown in there too. So you got to factor that in. Now they do have the punt squad out in the field.
Lane and Stuyvesant back deep, who each have touchdowns for Freeport tonight to receive this punt. It's a fake, as there'll be a 1st down on the play. That is Frazier with the ball for Knoch, and that's why they call a timeout. He's still on his feet. Tries to cut back towards the middle. Wow. 1st and 10 for Knoch as pulling. Great call there by Coach Brandon Mowry. Pulls a trick up his sleeve as Knoch will take over at its own 26-yard line, 46-yard line. As Knoch, they took a gamble there, being down 26-0, and it paid off.
Well, there it is. Now, we can almost guarantee, unless there's a fumble, Freeport's not scoring before the half.
Now 50 seconds left in this first half. Play clock now going down to 8. Man goes motion, and that's Goodling. Now Kasecki, he rolls. He is sacked on the play by Freeport at the 36-yard line. Colton Alderman made the sack for Freeport, 5'10", 160-pound sophomore. He's had a few tackles for loss in this first half. 21 seconds left, play clock at 27, so will Knoch run another play before halftime? As Kosecki had nowhere to go, and Alderman was just there on the sack, make it a 2nd and 20, loss of 10.
Got to run your best play here.
As Kosecki, he gives it to Frazier, but he is greeted immediately as he will pretty much get to the line of scrimmage. Cole Charlton made the tackle for Freeport. And that will bring us to halftime here at Saxonburg as Freeport leads Knoch 26-0. Freeport will receive the second half kickoff as you're listening to WPIAL Freeport, or WPIAL football on the High Top Sports Network. Stay tuned as we will have a press box dedication to Regis Schiebel into both marching bands from Knoch and Freeport here on the High Top Sports Network.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
Shop and Save at Franklin Village is a family-owned, community-dedicated supermarket with a wide variety of quality food and friendly personnel to make your shopping experience easy. Stop by their award-winning butcher shop where you'll find the freshest cuts of USDA-inspected beef, pork, and poultry. Head to the bakery for the freshest bread and rolls, and don't forget to stop by the deli for an excellent selection of cold cuts, meats, cheeses, and prepared foods like their fantastic fried chicken. That's Shop and Save at Franklin Village.
Famous by far, Joe Lee.
as the first 2 PAT kicks.
For our final selection, this tune was originally produced as an old folk song. However, when it didn't receive the recognition it deserved, he took over and added his twist that turned it into a memorable hit we all know and love. Get up and line dance with us if you'd like. Please enjoy the classic hit by Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire.
Thank you for your kind attention and support of Music Education of Black Freeport Area School District, Department of Music and the Music Area District Association. We hope that you enjoy the performance and go Yellowjackets!
Which that doesn't count. This was
pretty good.
No, they are good, yeah.
I want to do a walking taco.
Yeah. Was that yours?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming to the field your 2021 Knoch High Band. Under the direction of Mr. Rick Hayden, Assistant Director Mrs. Deanna Golden, Color Guard Advisor Mrs. Kim Brandt, Knoch Ed Advisor Mrs. Lori Spangler, Major Ed Advisor Mrs. Natalie Mott. Under the field leadership of drum majors Jack Walker and Andrew Ritter, and band captains Kevin Golden, Jake McCurdy, Braden Sloan, and Justin Walls, along with drumline captains Kevin Golden and Marina Smith. Drum majors, is the band ready? Tonight the band will open its halftime show with a 1966 classic hit, famously performed by the Blues Brothers. Here's Give Me Some Lovin'. Now we'll feature auxiliary squads under the student leadership of Color Guard Captain Paige Penn and Co-Captain Victoria Miller. Knoch Ed captains Mia Savannah and Emma Vanatti, with Quartermaster Riley Huff. Major Ed Captain Alexis Sedlak and featured twirler Madison Zelmer. Our squads will perform to the 1971 hard rock hit by Led Zeppelin. Here's Rock and Roll.
So do you think we just interview Gail?
So we're almost done.
I mean, unless it's
That's
other Did you do the interview last week? Did you guys interview Coach last week? I'll let you interview them. Because I'm sure I'll be able to do day one for like so I did the interview last week. It also gives you great talk. Like, knowing basketball, sometimes I'm like, I'm trying to play like like a timeout, I just asked my reporter a question like talk. I don't know if I want to. I've never done hockey. I just feel like I'd be bad. That's the thing with basketball. Like once you get in the rhythm, if you know the players,
To close our show this evening, we'll leave you with the 2006 alternative rock hit by the band Chemical Romance. Here is Welcome to the Black Parade with trumpet soloist Braden Slow.
I mean, like I know the terminology, but it's just like keeping up with the players. I think I struggle with. Like I know all the terminology. So is my mic levels, are they good? Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna say I know it's TV, but like there was the one time when you were talking, and Lane was running. So I guess can you talk right before the snap it, so I can do the play. Because like even if it's TV, I think it's just better sounding.
I love those.
You're good, bro. That was really the only one.
Screwing up there, I love those.
What's this song? I don't know what it's called. Yeah, so Armstrong's beating Deer Lake's 28-6. And should we just go on right after the dance? I'll read a score so we get it. I'll read the arms care one second.
On behalf of the Knoch Night Marching Band, directors and staff, we wish you the very best. 2021, 2022 school. Let's go Knights!
It's a special find that out because we have a special presentation. Mr. Regis Sheehan passed away on December 27, 2020, in the age of 86. Reed's worked at Knoch High School, first as a math teacher and later as assistant for 36 years.
Great job there by both bands from Knoch and Freeport. As we're at halftime, Freeport leads Knoch 26-0. Let's hear from one of our sponsors, Arms Care Inc. Arms Care, located at 85 Glade Drive in Katanning, provides the highest quality medical equipment, supplies, and service for use in your home after an accident, illness, or surgery. The caring professionals at Arms Care can assist you in getting the appropriate medical equipment into your home where you can make the most progress on your recovery. Arms Care offers 24/7 emergency service as well as a wide variety of specialized medical equipment, and their experienced staff is committed to helping you or your loved ones regain normalcy by providing the highest level of quality home care equipment, supplies, and service. Contact Arms Care at 724-545-3200 today as you're listening to WPIAL non-conference football action week 1 here on the High Top Sports Network. I'm Adam Morganti alongside Mason Flanagan and our cameraman Jake DeLuca. Once again, Freeport leads 26-0. And Mason, how did we get to 26-0?
Well, it all started back at the first play of the game. Knoch fumbled the football, and then Freeport was able to take 2 plays for a 22-yard Ben Lane rushing touchdown, 7-0. Then we didn't see anything for a while until a punt was blocked by Logan Jendrewski. A 16-yard run into the house. Freeport's up 14-0. Then we cut into the second quarter, as then it was a 6-yard rush from Clark, Zach Clark, at the 11:07 mark, making it 20-0. The Yellowjackets tried to go. Well, they missed the extra point. It hit off the upright, and then around the 6-minute mark. My bad. The last scoring play was the Clark 6-yard rush. My apologies on that. So that gets us to our 26-0. That last one, they tried to go for 2, and King just couldn't quite get it. His receiver went right through his hands. Oh well. We'll see how they move on, as it's 26-0 here with the third quarter rolling around real quick. Armstrong, we'll look around at our other scores here within the High Top Sports Network coverage. Armstrong is up 28-6, 6 minutes left in the first half. And also at the halftime break, Kiski is beating Franklin Regional 10-7.
Thank you for that, Mason. As far as team stats, Freeport has 114 total yards. Knoch has 45 yards. All those yards on the ground. Garrett King, quarterback for Freeport, 3 for 3 through the air, 67 yards with 1 touchdown pass to Brady Stuyvesant, who has 2 receptions for 64 yards to lead Freeport through the air. The other receptions for Freeport comes from Vincent Clark, a 3-yard reception. And on the ground, Ben Lane has 7 carries for 47 yards as both teams are out as we're getting ready for the third quarter here on the High Top Sports Network as Freeport will receive the opening kickoff. High Top Sports Network is excited to broadcast Knoch and Freeport athletics this fall. If you or someone you know is a local business owner interested in sponsoring High Top Sports Network's coverage of Freeport or Knoch athletics now or in the future, please contact us via staff@hightopsports.com or by phone at 724.824.3554. You can also find us at www.hightopsportsnetwork.com or on Facebook at High Top Sports or on Twitter at @hightop_sports. Now, Trissani will kick for Knoch at his own 40-yard line. Ben Lane back deep for Freeport as it's a deep kick, and it angles, and it will go out of bounds. Ben Lane wisely watches that go out of bounds. Will be a penalty on Knoch. 1st and 10, Freeport to start the third quarter.
Important to note, the mercy roll that can't kick in until a team leads by 35 points. It'll take 2 scores for Freeport to get to that point.
Yeah, and by rule, with that kick going out of bounds, Freeport will start at its own 35-yard line. Garrett King leads the Freeport offense out of the huddle. He has a passing touchdown to Brady Stuyvesant in this game. As King in the pistol. Lane now motions from left to right. Now King, he will keep it himself on a designed quarterback run. He'll get up past the 40 and get out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Pushed out of bounds was Keegan Frazier, as that'll be enough to move the chains for the first down. As King showed some great patience there on that run and just let the blockers do the work there. 1st and 10 for Freeport, ball at its own 46-yard line. Good blocking there on the play by Aiden Lindsay, Mason Lyles, Peyton Westendorf, Logan Jędrzejewski, and Brady Pega. King now, he's back to throw. He throws down the middle of the field. That is incomplete, out of the reach of the diving Vincent Clark. First incompletion for Garrett King on the day. Will bring up 2nd and 10. As that's something we really didn't see Freeport do much, is take a shot on first down, as they really done nothing but run the ball on first down. Really only 4 passes so far combined in this game between Knoch and Freeport. Knoch has not yet to attempt a pass in this game. 2nd and 10 now for Freeport, ball at its own 46-yard line. Lane behind King. King now rolls to his right, and he will get sacked on the play. Nowhere to go. Great disruption there by the Knoch defensive line. Matthew Carney, one of the Knights, and on that play along with Jack Murphy. Loss of 11 on the play. Will bring it back to the original line of scrimmage, the 35-yard line. 3rd and 21 for Freeport. And Freeport's faced with something it's often not, 3rd and long. As Xavier Johnson is down on the field for Knoch, the 6', 165-pound freshman. Or sophomore, excuse me.
Can we expect Freeport to air a ball out here a little bit? As Garrett King, he's had a 27-yard completion for a touchdown and a 37-yard completion, both to Stuyvesant. Can we expect to see something go wrong here? As it's 3rd and a mile. The line of scrimmage is about 10 miles down the road at Freeport High School as for the Pike Bowl.
Yeah, this is the Pike Bowl, first annual time they're playing for the Pike Trophy. So the winner of this game will get to display his trophy at the high school, as Johnson is able to walk off the field under his own power on the Knoch sideline. Now 3rd and 21 for Freeport, ball at its own 35-yard line. King now, he will throw. He has time. He throws over the middle. That is caught for the first down on the run. That is Vinnie Clark making that catch and run. Great throw there by Garrett King. He put it right on the money, leading his receiver Clark in stride. Now in Knight territory at the Knoch 27-yard line. Is great protection there by the Freeport offensive line, as King was sacked on the previous play for a 11-yard loss, but King had plenty of time to throw on that one. 1st and 10 for Freeport. Freeport leads 26-0 with 10:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And I've got 43 yards on that one.
Yeah, besides that incompletion earlier in the drive from King, King is now 4 or 5, and he's been very accurate in this game, as he wasn't so accurate in the last game last week with a 36.4 completion percentage, but he is 4 for 5 so far, as Freeport now calls a timeout. It's first timeout of the second half, as they have 2 more timeouts remaining. Sprinklers Neighborhood Market, located 27 West Water Street in Saxonburg, has been making quality meat a family tradition since 1999. Sprinkles takes pride in delivering the best prices around while providing the best overall value for their customers by offering the widest range of items, the highest quality and freshness, the most organized and cleanest shopping environment, and the friendliest associates. Make sure to visit www.sprinklesoktoberfest.com for tickets to the festival, which runs September 10th through the 12th. And remember to always check out Sprinkles' Facebook page to #SaveOnMeat.
correction on the yardage on that last completion. It was 38 and not 43. Maybe I'll get better at math sooner or later.
First and 10 for Freeport after their timeout. Ball at the Knoch 27-yard line, looking to extend its lead up 26-0 here early second quarter. King back to throw. He rolls to his right. He throws down the field. That is complete and slipping. Looks like short of the first down. Jackson Reiser made that reception, the 6'1", 185-pound junior. As that will be good for the first down. Looked like he slipped a little short, but the ball was past the lead sticks. So back-to-back first down plays for Freeport. Needed the 17, and he got to the 17. As Reiser, he had a touchdown last week for Freeport. Gets that completion there from King. King now laying in the backfield behind King. Man goes in motion. Now the give as we have a flag on the play. Up past at the 15-yard line. That was to Vinnie Clark as he had that 38-yard reception on that 3rd and 21. Flag at about the line of scrimmage, waiting for the call from referee Chuck Rusledge. Illegal shift on Freeport. That'll put him back 5 yards, make it 1st and 15. Ball at the Knoch 22-yard line.
Oh, that kind of hurts us. We had talked about previously Freeport got hurt on penalties last week. It's now after that big 3rd down conversion, you now face a 1st and 15. You can't, now you're going to think, you run the ball again, you have to get 7 or 8 yards right away, or else you're looking at possibly a long 3rd down again.
Now Ben Lane will take the direct snap. He'll go up the middle. He'll make a man miss. He'll bounce it outside, and he gets out of bounds as we have a little scrum going on between, looks like, Jack Murphy of Knoch and Mason Lowes of Freeport. But Lane is able to get close to the lead sticks as he's brought down at the Knoch 10-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and short for the Yellowjackets.
Lane had 46 yards on the ground before the half. Almost 15 on that rush.
2nd and 3 for Freeport. Ball at the Knoch 10-yard line. Lane now, a Wildcat once again. He'll now run towards the near side. Now he'll cut back towards the middle. Get inside the 10. He's brought down at, looks like, the Knoch 7-yard line. Pick up 3 more yards. Should be enough for the first down.
Yep, the down marker has a 1 on it. We're just waiting on the chains to move.
Cody Mullen, the 5'8", 145-pound freshman, made the stop for Knoch, and that'll be 1st and goal for Freeport at the Knoch 7-yard line. Freeport looking to extend to its 26-0 lead. Keep in mind, the key play in this drive on a 3rd and 21, Vinnie Clark had a 38-yard reception from Garrett King. King now back in at quarterback. He's a low man in the backfield. Low snap as King just dives on it at the Knoch 21-yard line. There is a flag, however, on the play.
Flag was in the backfield of Freeport, so
see what the penalty is.
By the way, disaster strikes that big 1st down again.
Illegal motion on Freeport. Obviously, penalty decline with that big loss will bring up a 2nd and goal from the 21-yard line. And we've seen a lot of bad snaps in this game, mainly from Knoch, but the first one coming there from Freeport.
How about a loss of 14 yards? Now you're going to almost air one out.
Now King gives it to Lane, and he bounces outside towards the near side of the field. It's down about the Knoch 15-yard line. Sobolski made the tackle, pushed Lane out of bounds, bringing up a 3rd and long, 3rd and goal. Gain of 6 at the Knoch 15-yard line, as once again Freeport did convert it on a 3rd long in this drive, as They had a 3rd and 21 in its own territory, and King connected with Vinnie Clark for a 38-yard reception. Freeport leads 26-0. 8:06 remaining in the third quarter. King now back to throw. He throws towards the end zone. He had a man open, but he overthrows him. Incomplete.
Just over the fingertips of his man in the end zone.
Jackson Reiser, the intended receiver, his second incompletion in this drive, also looked for Reiser on his other incompletion, as Freeport will bring the field goal unit out. Vinnie Clark will be on to attempt the field goal. Actually, no, it's not Vinnie Clark. It's Parker Lucas. That kick is up, and that kick is no good. As that was a 32-yard field goal attempt. 33 yards, about an extra point in the NFL distance. So big stop by the Knights defense. They give up that 3rd and long early on in the drive, but Freeport not able to convert on that 3rd and long, as King had Reiser open in the end zone. He just overthrew him. So Knoch will take over 1st and 10, ball at its own 20-yard line, looking to get into this game and chip away at this 26-0 Freeport lead. Kosecki in the gun with Frazier to his right. Kosecki now gives to Frazier. He bounces it outside. He delivers a stiff arm. He'll get a 1st down in much more. Gets pushed out of bounds on play by Vinnie Clark and Gavin Croney. Great play there on Knoch by for a 1st down.
14-yard run.
Yeah, and he's out at his own 34-yard line. Frazier has, in the first half, he had 12 carries for 54 yards. And just add on to that, it'll be 1st and 10 for Knoch. Kosecki now waiting for the snap. Gets the snap, will be a QB keeper, but he has nowhere to go as he's brought down by multiple Yellowjackets on the play. Parker Lucas and Jackson Reiser make the stop on the play, as Reiser is slow to get up, as grabbing his knee.
There's another Knoch Knight down on the field around the 50-yard line as well.
Reiser's able to get up on his own power. Trying to see who the injured Knoch Knight is. Still down on the field. Yeah, that's Jack Murphy for Knoch.
My bad, not 87. You gotta wonder if Kosecki has to throw the ball away there. He's so far chased behind the line of scrimmage. There's no way you get back, as Yellowjackets swarm around you.
Yeah, that was less than 9 yards on a play, 2nd and 19.
Still a Knoch Knight down around the 50-yard line.
Yeah, on this drive for Knoch, before that last play, that loss by Kosecki, Frazier had a run of 14 yards to give Knoch 1st down, and before that, Parker Lucas missed a 33-yard field goal for Freeport, and it's still 26-0 as we're scoreless here in the third quarter with 7:37 remaining in the third quarter. That is Jack Murphy. He's able to get up on his own power. Always good to see. Gets a nice hand from the Knoch faithful. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 19 for Knoch, ball at its own 26-yard line. Trailing Freeport by 26 points. Here in this Week 1 non-conference game, both teams 0-1 after losing in Week 0. Freeport lost to Armstrong 48-14, and Knoch lost to Central Valley 62-0. Both teams 0-1. In the Pike Bowl, winner gets to playing for the Pike Trophy. Kosecki now waiting for the snap. Gets the snap. He gives to Frazier. Frazier is pretty much met immediately as he's able to pull the pile to get a couple yards. We'll get about 2 yards on the play, brought down by Garrett Kane. There's another flag on the play as we've had quite a few flags in this game. Most of the penalties going on Knoch in this game. But Freeport had a key penalty when they had 1st and goal. After the play, personal foul against Knoch. That'll back them up even more. But yeah, Freeport had a key penalty on their last drive. They had a 1st and goal at the 7, but then they had a bad snap that King was able to carry, and the penalty was declined. But yeah, on personal foul against Knoch backs them up. It will be 3rd and about the distance from Knoch to Freeport, 31 yards away from the 1st down. So Knoch has it at its own 14-yard line. They need to go to their own 45-yard line for the 1st down. 7:05 remaining, 3rd quarter of play. Freeport leads 26-0.
You have to wonder if there's any way you get out of this. Do you go and hand the ball off to Keegan Frazier and hope he has another big run? He had one of 30-plus yards earlier on back in the 1st half. Or do you air the ball out for the first time this game?
We have seen them all. They've had a lot of 3rd longs in this game, and they've just kept it on the ground. We'll see what Kosecki does here as Coach Brandon Mallory calls a timeout for Knoch. First timeout of the game, or of the half, rather. He has 2 more remaining. As we will go to commercial as Freeport leads Knoch 26-0 here on the High Top Sports Network.
With over 40 years of experience, the fine folks at Steffi's Country Catering in Adrian can provide you with several scrumptious options for your next family gathering, corporate event, or tailgate. Make sure to try one of their custom meat and cheese trays or pick up a delicious Sunday takeout special. Steffi's Country Catering is a Leader Times Silver Best of winner 3 years running. And as the holidays approach, get back to celebrating with friends and family and leave the cooking to Steffi's. Sugar Rush Cupcakes by Tara are available by order. That's Steffi's Country Catering. Find them on Facebook.
We're back on here on the High Top Sports Network. Freeport leads Knoch 26-0 after that personal foul on Knoch. That backs them up to 3rd and 31, ball at its own 14-yard line after the Knoch Knights timeout. Knoch on a 9-game losing streak coming in to this game, carrying over from last season. Kosecki goes empty set. Takes a snap. He's back to throw. He throws deep down the middle, and that is caught on the play for a 1st down and much more. Looked like they were calling it off, but he's going to keep going for a Knoch Knight touchdown. That is Keegan Frazier on the play. The officials discussing something, though, as Kosecki, the first pass attempt of the game.
How about that? 86 yards. Keegan Frazier, the big playmaker this Knoch Knight team is developing into.
I'm not sure what the referees are discussing here, why they're going to call this back. Illegal man downfield is what they're calling. Shout out to Jake DeLuca for that, as, yeah, they're going to bring it back, as that must have been an offensive lineman, and on a pass play, an offensive lineman can't be more than 1 yard down the field, so they must have thought that Kosecki was going to run the ball, so you started run blocking, but another critical penalty for the Knoch Knights that took away that touchdown. As even though the touchdown doesn't count, shout out to Keegan Frazier for keep on running to see what the officials call and go all the way to the end zone, but it won't happen as an eligible man downfield. Another Knoch penalty in this game.
Yeah, Adam, that penalty, it silenced this Knoch crowd. You heard the cheers, and then you just heard the quiet that followed. We'll see if they can do it again.
Back up 5 more yards. We 3rd and 36 now at their own 4-yard line. Or at their own 7, rather. They need to get all the way to their own 45-yard line. See what Kosecki does here. He's back to throw. Big rush, and he's going to be hitting the end zone and sacked for a safety.
So, wow, there's one way to score for the Knoch for Freeport. First time I've seen a safety in a little while.
Looked like that was Garrett King that made that tackle in the end zone for the safety. As there's a flag, as I saw a little dancing going on after that safety, so that's probably what that penalty's for.
All I can say, it's not on the scoreboard yet.
Yeah, Kosecki had no time to get rid of that ball. He was, unsportsmanlike conduct on Freeport. Yeah, still safety makes it 28-0 Freeport. So Garrett King not only throwing for a touchdown, but also recording a safety. So that means Knoch will punt it away to Freeport. So a big point swing there, really a 12-point swing, as it looked like it was going to be 26-6 on a Keegan Frazier 86-yard reception, but it got called back due to an eligible man downfield. Very next play, Kosecki sacked in the end zone for a safety. And now Knoch will punt it away to Freeport. 6:23 remaining here in the third quarter. Makes it 28-0 Yellowjackets.
Yeah, for Kosecki, there was absolutely nowhere to go. He turned and looked, and the defensive end was right on top of him. Like, you got a half a second, that ball's not going anywhere. Might as well just kiss the ground at that point.
Yeah, Kosecki has had not a lot of time to either run the ball or throw it there on that instance at all in this game, as Freeport has just had unlimited pressure on Kosecki in this game. Something they got to early to Caden Olson last week against Armstrong in the first half. They got a lot of pressure on him, but Freeport's able to carry this over to the second half of this game, as this will just be a basic kickoff there by Knoch by Brendan Tristiani. Here's a kick. It's a deep kick, and it will bounce inside the 10 and about the 9-yard line. It'll be picked up on the play by Freeport up past the 20, and it'll be out at about the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 Freeport. That's where they'll take over. Up 28-0.
Yeah, that was a ground ball kick. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea for him to pick that ball up and turn around and try to run that, but hey, he was able to get 5 more yards than just letting it roll out of bounds or into the end zone. So, heads up, good for him on that, as it's a 5-yard difference, and 5 yards could mean a lot more. If 5 yards is 5 yards, Freeport will take it.
Timeout, Knoch, their second of the half. They have one more remaining in the game. And once again, you're listening to WPIAL Football on the High Top Sports Network. And we just want to thank all of our listeners for listening out there to this game in past broadcasts before and broadcasts in the future. And if you want to donate to the High Top Sports Network, feel free to hit that donate button down below. But once again, we'd like to thank you to all our listeners out there to listening to us here on the High Top Sports Network. We announce football, baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball, and hockey. As Freeport offense is back out there, King goes empty. Freeport takes over at the 23-yard line. Low snap, fumble. See who comes up with it.
Looks like we're getting ready for second down, so Freeport has the ball.
Yeah, Freeport with the recovery. Another low snap, as we saw a bad snap on the last drive. It was 1st and goal at the 7. Another bad snap there by Freeport, made a 14-yard loss. That time that was only a 5-yard loss. Garrett King was able to get on his own fumble. 5:45 remaining here in the third quarter. Only points coming from a Garrett King safety on Knoch quarterback Carson Kosecki here in this quarter. King with the passing touchdown in this game. Now he's back to throw. Now he steps up in the pocket, and he'll keep it himself. He'll put his head down, and he will bulldoze his way to about the original line of scrimmage. Luke Goodling made the tackle for Knoch on that play. And it is back to the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 5 will be 3rd and 10. Ball at the Freeport 23-yard line. As we are now under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, Freeport leads 28-0.
Garrett King with 36 yards rushing on the ground right now.
King now another run on 3rd and 10. He'll go to the outside. He'll break a tackle, get up past the 30, and take multiple people with him trying to carry that pile. But he will be a few yards short of the lead sticks. Will be brought down at the 32-yard line.
We've got a halftime score update from Armstrong High School, 35-6 Armstrong at the half. Caden Olsen, 4 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown as well, so dual threats up for Armstrong. It's all looking good for them.
Personal foul we have on Freeport, so that'll back them up 15 yards. We'll be 4th and short. You would think Coach Brandon Mowry will accept the penalty here. 4:30 remaining here in the third quarter. As they decline the penalty, it'll be 4th down, as Parker Lucas will be on the punt, as they are now backing the ball up. So it's after the play. So this will be the first punt for Freeport. 4th and 17. Ball will be at its own 16-yard line. Keegan Frazier is back to receive at his own about 48-yard line. First punt here for Parker Lucas, as he has a missed field goal in this game. He's at his own 1-yard line. Comes a punt from Lucas. High kick, not very deep at all. It takes a Knoch Knight bounce, as Freeport will down it.
Knoch about blocked that punt too. I can't get my eyes on the number right now, but there's 2 Knoch Knights within inches of that punted football. Right there. That could have been knocked away, and Knoch could have scored their first points of the 2021 season had they tapped that away.
Knoch will now take over, as they'll move the ball up to, looks like about the Freeport 27-yard line. So Knoch is excellent field position to score its first points of the season. We'll call the 26-yard line.
Just about their best field position of the night. But for Freeport, it's all about defense right here. You're going to stop this and get down and score a touchdown, get that 35-point mercy roll.
Kosecki now, he takes the snap. He'll run up the middle, QB keeper, but he's going to be met pretty much at the line of scrimmage once again.
I think he just hit the D-line. There's Freeport defensive linemen forming a wall at the line of scrimmage tonight.
Yeah, Cole Charlton looked like he was in there to make the stop. One of the Yellowjackets making no gain for Freeport. 2nd and 10, Knoch Knights have the ball. With 3:44 remaining in the third quarter, Freeport leads 28-0. Kosecki now, another QB run. He now bounces out to the far sideline. He has a hole. He breaks a tackle. He'll be out of bounds at the Freeport 22-yard line, so he'll pick up 4 yards, but hold the phone, another flag on the play.
The flag thrown well after the play, so we'll have to see what the officials saw on that. Either way, a nice run But there might be holding or something, or...
Head official Chuck Russellage getting his money's worth tonight is looked like on sportsmanlike conduct, a sideline warning against Freeport.
You gotta make sure you play a clean game. You don't... A clean game. Freeport at this point, you gotta focus on getting 35 points, more than Knoch. Get this game over with, get on the buses, no injuries before conference play starts up here in a couple weeks.
3rd and 5 for Knoch, ball at the Freeport 21-yard line. Kosecki gets his snap. He gives it to Frazier. He bounces outside. He has first down and much more. He's fumbles now in the end zone, is recovered in the end zone by Knoch. Should be called a touchdown, but officials waiting for the official ruling. See what they rule here as the referee signals first down. As looked like they were calling Frazier down before he fumbled. But Knoch, 1st and goal from the Freeport 3-yard line. McGowan made the fumble recovery for Knoch, but he was down. And you think Knoch, hey, just say I wasn't down, so you give him the touchdown. 1st and goal, though. Knoch with a great chance to score its first points of the season. Kosecki in the gun. Frazier now to his left. Kosecki now gives it to Frazier. He bounces outside, and he will go into the end zone for a touchdown. But we have a flag. We'll see if this touchdown will stand for Knoch's first points of the 2021 football season. As it will come back, holding against Knoch. Another killer penalty for the Knoch Knights, as it looked like that would be a touchdown. So last drive, Knoch had a touchdown taken away by a penalty. This time they have another touchdown taken away by a penalty. So it'll be 1st and goal for Knoch, this time from the 13-yard line.
Yeah, there was the Yellowjackets. It was almost had hands on Frazier. That must have been the hold. As he got into the backfield, was right behind Frazier, about to take him down. So, right there's your hold. You gotta make sure you play a clean game.
Yep, Knoch just shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. Back now at the Freeport 13-yard line, 1st and goal. Kosecki takes his snap. Now he runs it up the middle. He'll get about 2 yards on the play, down to the 11-yard line. Making the tackle for Freeport, Andrew Sullivan, the 6-foot, 180-pound senior. 2nd and goal from the Freeport 11-yard line. Freeport leads 28-0 here in this third quarter. Lone points in this quarter. A safety on Kosecki by quarterback Garrett King. So quarterback to quarterback right there. So we are now approaching 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Play clock now down to 5. Kosecki hands it to Frazier. Tackle miss in the backfield, and he slips and falls, and he will just get back to the line of scrimmage to make it a 3rd and goal at the 11. Garrett King made the tackle for the Yellowjackets. Big 3rd down here for Knoch if they want to chip away at this Freeport 28-0 lead. Once again, Keegan Frazier did have 2 touchdowns called back in this quarter. The most recent one was a 3-yard rushing touchdown, got called back to a holding penalty. Knoch looking to capitalize here. Kosecki now, he rolls to his right, tackle miss. Now he will be brought down at the 10-yard line there on the play. Making that tackle for Freeport was Aiden Lindsay, the 5'8", 250-pound senior. Only 1 yard on play is another design run, but Freeport once again all over. It'll be a 4th and goal now from the Freeport 10-yard line, and Knoch is leaving their offense out there with 52 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yeah, Adam, that just shows that penalty hurt him that bad. Keegan Frazier's a big dude. He is scoring on that touchdown run, but there's a hold against the defender behind him, and now you might not even score here. You got to get 9 yards right here.
Kosecki now, he throws towards the end zone. That is caught for a touchdown in the back corner of the end zone. Making a touchdown grab is J.J. Shabalski. No flags on the field. And Knoch, for the first time in 2021, is on the board. 28-6, Freeport leads. As Shabalski was just pretty much left alone in the corner of the end zone, Kosecki just had to throw it up to him. Perfectly placed throw by Kosecki. Is now on to attempt the extra point for Knoch is Brendan Tristiani. The holder is Sabalski, who just made that 9-yard touchdown grab on 4th and goal. That kick is up, and that kick is good as Knoch gets on the board with 28 seconds left in the third quarter. Freeport leads Knoch 28-7 here on the High Top Sports Network. Here, week 1 of WPIAL football.
Feel good moment there for Knoch Knight fans. You can hear them in the crowd. The scoreless no more. It's only up from here.
Yeah, third time's a charm for Knoch in this quarter, as on their last drive before that one, they had a touchdown called back, a Keegan Frazier 86-yard reception called back due to eligible man downfield. And before Knoch punched it in on that last drive, they had a Keegan Frazier rushing touchdown called back due to a holding call. But Knoch able to capitalize on that one with that touchdown from Kosecki to Sabalski. Now Tristiani will do the kickoff duties. Keep in mind here for maybe a little onside kick, as Knoch has had a fake punt in this game go their way for the first down. Ben Lane back deep, as it is a deep kick. Is field on the play by Freeport's Brady Sullivan, as he spins at about the 25-yard line. Fumble on the play. Do the Knoch Knights have a fumble recovery?
Guessed by the crowd, they believe they have it, and yes, the official points that way.
Yes, they do.
How about a turn of events here at the end of the third quarter? The Knoch Knights, instead of running the football, they throw it with success for a touchdown. Then the very next play on the kickoff. Well, how about a fumble recovery?
Yeah, not sure who recovered that fumble, but the momentum's starting to go towards the favor of Knoch, as they're down 28-7 with 19 seconds left in the third quarters. Knoch started its last drive on the Freeport 28-yard line. Now they start this drive on the Freeport 25-yard line.
Game's not over yet.
Kosecki now waiting for the snap. And he gives it to Frazier, goes up the middle. He will fall forward inside the 25 for about 2 yards, bring up a 2nd and 8 at the Freeport 23-yard line, as Knoch will let the clock go down to 0. As that is the end of the third quarter. Freeport leads Knoch 28-7 as you're listening to WPIAL football on the High Top Sports Network.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
We're back on the High Top Sports Network going the fourth quarter play. Freeport leads Knoch 28-7, but the Knoch outscored Freeport in that quarter 7-2 on a Kosecki 9-yard touchdown pass to J.J. Sabalski. Freeport got 2 points on a safety of Kosecki, courtesy of Garrett King. Freeport got its other touchdowns in the first quarter on a Ben Lane 22-yard touchdown run, a Brady Stevenson 27-yard receiving touchdown. Logan Jendrzejewski had a 16-yard punt block. And now 2nd and 8 for Knoch at the Freeport 23. Kaseki hands it off to Frazier, makes a man miss. He spins out of the tackle, and he'll get about 2 more yards on the play as we have an injured Yellow Jacket.
The game's not over yet, Adam, as there's still a long 12-minute quarter to go. And I'll refer back to the Freeport-Armstrong game. We remember what happened toward the end of that game. Things started cramping up. Players were getting a little tired. And Armstrong piled them all on. Another week of conditioning and hydration, maybe they put that off for another 12 minutes or so. Maybe you had 1 or 2 more subs that could come in off the bench. Here we have a Freeport Yellow Jacket down.
Yeah, definitely not as hot, though, as it was last week.
We're thankful for that, Adam. We're thankful for that.
Yeah. In the last touchdown in the first half for Freeport came from a Zach Clark 7-yard rushing touchdown. And that's where we are, 28-7. Knox scoring its first points of the season. As right now it's 58 degrees and feels like a fall evening, perfect for high school football. 3rd and 6 when we come back for Knoch at the Freeport 21-yard line. You would think with Knoch being down 3 scores, it'd be 4-down territory at this point, as Logan Jindrzejewski was the injured Yellow Jacket who had that punt block for a touchdown. He's able to walk off on his own, or as the head trainer for Freeport, William Siegel, has helped him off the field. Big 3rd down, though, early on in this game, 11:46 remaining in the 4th quarter. As Knoch last drive was able to convert a 4th down on a Kaseki touchdown pass to Sobolski. Kaseki now with Frazier to his left. Awaits the snap. Kaseki now. He keeps it himself. He goes down the near sideline. He really has nowhere to go. He's gained about 1 yard on the play. Jackson Reiser makes that aggressive tackle. And we'll bring up about a 4th and 5 for Knoch.
Well, here we go. It's not going to try to kick the field goal here. It'll be a longer field goal. It appears they're going to go and try to go for the 4th down. 4-down territory. You're going to have a big play and convert here.
Yeah, down 3 possessions, a field goal won't do you any good, because if you make the field goal here, you'll still be down 3 possessions. But
yeah, you got to.
Knoch was able to convert a 4th down once again last drive on a Kaseki touchdown pass to Sobolski. Kaseki looking to convert once again. Now he drops back to throw. He threw his own corner towards the end zone. That is picked off on the play by Freeport. Freeport will take over on downs, making a defensive stand. Zach Clark made the interception, the 5'9", 160-pound junior for Freeport.
Yeah, Adam, there it is. Knoch took a big risk. Yeah, you have to put it in the end zone. You can't kick the field goal because you'd still be down by 3 scores. So you got to throw. And the bright side in all of it is Freeport's pinned very deep on their own end of the field.
Yeah, Freeport will pretty much have to go the same distance it is back to Freeport High School for this touchdown. They're at its own 1 yard line, so they have to go 99 yards. So Freeport has to be careful that they don't get a safety. As for this, King will line up under center with Lane in the backfield turn. And the give is to Lane, and he will be tackled for a safety. As just I said to be careful, they aren't. Or that's actually a touchdown.
Oh, a fumble.
Fumble recovery for Knoch. They make this a 2-possession game.
Well, what a turn of events for Knoch. Just right when you think, the nail might be in the coffin. You got to make sure you got the right thing in the coffin.
I think that was Keegan Frazier made that fumble recovery in the end zone, the fumble on Ben Lane. Gersani with the extra point. That kick is up. That kick is good. And all of a sudden, we got a ball game here, folks, as Freeport leads Knoch 28-0 after being up, or 28-14 after being up 28-0 late here in the third quarter. But Knoch has cut Freeport's lead in half.
So now, if Knoch can score again, 2-point conversions, this is a 2-touchdown game right now. When we thought we might be going home early with a mercy roll, we just flipped the script. Well, Knoch is going to try to put on a show here for this home crowd in week 1.
Yeah, and Knoch's the last time Knoch was on the field on offense, they had excellent field position at the Freeport 25-yard line as Freeport fumbled. Brady Sullivan fumbled the kickoff, as they really haven't. As you'd think, if you're Knoch, you'd want to avoid kicking to Ben Lane, as he had a kickoff return for a touchdown last week against Armstrong. But Ben Lane is one of the men back there, as Freeport is anticipating an onside kick. But Trissani will just kick it deep. And field on play at the 10. That is Zach Clark. He'll cut towards the middle up past the 20. And he'll be brought down at the 24-yard line. That's where Freeport will take over with 10:23 left in the fourth quarter. Big drive for this Knoch defense. You'd think you'd want about a 3-and-out, so Knoch can get its offense back out on the field.
Yeah, for Freeport, you got to respond pretty quickly. And for Knoch, a 3-and-out, and this construction crew I'm seeing of a student section is going to be going ballistic for this Knoch team, getting their first win. You mentioned that they're on a 9-game losing streak coming into the day.
Garrett King now, he gives it to the man in motion, and he'll be taken down about the 26-yard line. Looked like that was Ben Lane on that carry.
If it's Lane, he's down. Yep, they pop him right back up. He's all right.
We gain a 2-yard, 2nd and 8, ball at the Freeport 26-yard line. Ben Lane has a 22-yard rushing touchdown in this game, the 5'11", 155-pound junior. Big drive here for both teams as Knoch, after being down 28-0, has cut the Freeport lead to 2 touchdowns. King now gets the snap. He pitches it to Ben Lane, but hold on, we got a whistle and a flag. False start here on Freeport. They'll back them up 5 yards. And it'll make it 2nd and 12 now at its own 22-yard line. As perhaps the pressure might be getting the Freeport here. As Knoch with 2 quick touchdowns. A J.J. Shabalski receiving touchdown and a Keegan Frazier recovery in the end zone. Fumble recovery in the end zone. 2nd and 12 here for Freeport. King in the pistol with Ben Lane behind him. King now pitches it to Ben Lane. He cuts up the middle. Not much doing there on that carry. He'll get maybe 2 yards on the play. Matt Carney made the stop for the Knoch Knights, bringing up a 3rd and 10 for Freeport. Big third down here with 9 minutes left in this fourth quarter.
Probably the biggest defensive play right here coming for this Knoch Knight defense. You get this 4th down, get a punt, then the guys will come out and it'll be a chance to make this a 1-possession game, which is huge. With the time working against Knoch right now, you got 8.5 minutes.
King now on the gun. They go trips to the near side of the field. King now, he pitches it to Ben Lane. He has a hole. He's up past the 30. He'll get the first down, much more 40. He tries to cut back towards the middle and go push out of bounds up at the Freeport 48-yard line. So gain of 24 yards. Big third down conversion there by Freeport, as Lane showed great patience and running vision to pick up that first down. 1st and 10, Freeport ball at its own 48-yard line. as they had trips to that formation, so they ran that formation. Great blocking there by Freeport. And you would think it's a gutsy call to run kind of that toss play on 3rd and 10, but when you have a guy that's as quick and elusive as Ben Lane, it works. King now. He keeps it himself, a little option, goes up the middle. He goes into Knoch territory. Will be brought down at the Knoch 49-yard line.
Yeah, what might have been a miscommunication there ended up being 4 yards. So Freeport making things work here with 8 minutes left to go.
Yeah, making the tackle was caught in for Knoch. 2nd and 7, ball at the Knoch 49-yard line. Freeport looking to kill some time as time is their friend here in this fourth quarter. 7:49 left in the fourth quarter of this week 1 non-conference game. Both teams coming into this game 0-1. King now tosses it to Clark that time, and he has a little bit of a hole, and he gets tackled at about the Knoch 45-yard line at the Freeport sideline. Bring up a 3rd and short. Kosecki made the stop for the Knoch Knights defense. Bring up a 3rd and 3, another big 3rd down. Last time Freeport had a 3rd down, it was 3rd and 10. They were able to pick it up with a Ben Lane 24-yard run. Let's see what head coach John Gaylord has dialed up here for this Freeport offense. Approaching now under 7 minutes to go in this game. King now tosses it to Lane. Now he switches direction, gets a block from his quarterback King. He has a 1st down and more. Great vision once again by Ben Lane as he's able to get the 1st down as he was going to the right, and he saw multiple Knoch Knights defenders. He said, well, the left side's open, I'll go there, as King picks up a key block to spring Lane to get the 1st down for Freeport. Needed 3, got 5. Ball at the Knoch 40-yard line.
Now the scoreboard gave Lane 5 there, but I see that as a 10-yard run. Why?
Maybe even
Lane
more.
was all the way back at the original line of scrimmage. But he's so elusive. It goes bang, 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 and now he's 10 yards down.
Now King gives it to Clark up the middle, but he's going to be tackled right at the 40-yard line for no gain. 2nd and 10 now for Freeport. Looks like Anderson Blakely made the tackle for Knoch, the 5'10", 155-pound freshman. As that was the same formation as Freeport picked up on that 3rd and 10 on that big run from Ben Lane. And that play was a toss to the right, but that time was just run up the middle, doing not much for Freeport. Now King gives it to the man in motion. That is Clark, as he will get a couple of yards on the play. It looks like only 2 yards on the play up towards the Knoch 38-yard line. Another key 3rd down for Freeport, as they've been able to pick up 2 3rd downs on this drive. Let's see if they can make it another one.
It seems like Freeport's trying to get that outside edge on the far side of your screen to see the Freeport side, and they keep trying to go over there, trying to get that edge. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but they're going to get it right here.
King now on a 3rd and 8 in the pistol with Lane behind him. King now, he designed quarterback run on keeping himself nowhere to go. Lost of 2 yards on the play. Big stop by the Knoch defense. Bring up 4th and long for Freeport. Cody Mullen, the 5'8", 145-pound freshman, made the tackle. Had a great read on that play as King. That was a designed quarterback run. Tried to go to his right, but Mullen came from behind for a 2-yard loss. And now Parker Lucas will try to pin Knoch deep. Keegan Frazier back to receive the punt for Knoch. He is standing at his own 10-yard line. Lucas at his own 47-yard line waiting for the punt. 4th and 10 as they'll let the play clock wind down as Coach John Gaylord will call a timeout. Before the play clock goes down 0. Freeport leads 28-14 with 4:04 remaining. And Knoch, I mean, they've aired it out a little bit in this game with Kaseki throwing for a touchdown and an interception on times where they've thrown it. But you would think 4 minutes left, knock down 2 touchdowns. It's not really who they are on offense, but you would think if they want to try to extend this game, they're going to have to try to put this ball through the air on this next drive.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Is it seems like Knoch is gaining the confidence with their passing abilities, just especially recently, coming out of the locker room. Might have been some kind of conversation about that when I went into half. Hey, we got to try to pass a little more. But either way, for a quarterback, Carson Kozeski, it's there. He's proving to be a dual threat tonight.
Yeah, Kaseki, the transfer from North Catholic, has 2 more years left. He's a junior. As you're listening to WPIAL Football on the High Top Sports Network. Adam Morganti on the call with you with Mason Flanagan and Jake DeLuca, as Parker Lucas is ready to punt the ball away for the Yellowjackets. Low snap. A bad punt, too, as Knoch just has to get out of the way of it. As that'll be down at the Knoch 39-yard line. Terrible punt, as it was a low snap. So if you're Freeport, at the very least, he's able to get that punt away. Yeah, that was about like, a 12-yard punt there? Yeah, just a low snap.
It's a rough estimate. It's a rough estimate.
Yeah, and his first punt wasn't very far either. So Knoch, pretty good field position, 3:55 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Kaseki now back out at quarterback with Frazier to his right. Kaseki now, he's back to throw. Will be a screen pass to the tight end Murphy. Not much doing there, as pick up maybe 1 yard on the, actually we'll give him 2 yards on the play. Be 2nd and 8, ball at the Knoch 30 or 42-yard line.
A way to look at that is that's a gain of 3. Instead of, if he kept that could be a loss of 5 or 6, maybe even worse. Especially time isn't Knoch's friend now, so any gain you could get.
Yeah, clock keeps on going. Knoch has 1 timeout left in this game. 3:14 left in the game. Kaseki now. He rolls to his right. He looks down the field. Flag on the play. He'll just go out of bounds. Have a feeling this will be a holding call. Looked like a Knoch player got a little habeas gravis on on Freeport's Colton Alderman. Yep, hold on Knoch 10 yards. And Knoch has just had a ton of penalties that has just taken away some key plays. And not really that one, because Kaseki just went out of bounds for maybe 1 yard. But still, it was 2nd and 7, but it'll be 2nd and long now for the Knoch Knights.
Is Knoch putting themselves away, it seems? That's what the penalty does. I see 2nd and 23 on the scoreboard in 3 minutes. So Freeport's got an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin. They got the hammer and they got the nail. Make a defensive stop here. They can head on the bus home with everybody healthy.
2nd and 23 now for Knoch. Ball at its own 26-yard line. Play clock now down to 4. Kaseki gets the snap, a wide snap, but he's able to catch it, and he's just able to take off towards the near sideline. Multiple Yellowjackets are there to push him out of bounds, bring up a 3rd and long. Reiser, Sullivan was in on the play for Freeport to go along with Parker Lucas.
It looked like he was looking for somebody downfield. There was just nobody open or nobody around. It's a tough and unfortunate circumstance, but, unfortunately it's 3rd down, so Knoch is going to have another opportunity for a big, long conversion. As you like to say, Adam, they're down at Freeport High School trying to convert this 3rd down.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and long. Knoch needs its own 49-yard line. Frazier now goes out to the far side, empty. Now Kaseki back to throw. He goes deep down that sideline. Incomplete. Outside and into the Freeport bench. That intended receiver was Keegan Frazier. as Frazier tried to make an adjustment on the ball, but not a very accurate throw there by Kaseki.
That's one ball that Kaseki wants to have back. He just overthrew it a little bit, or Frazier had a better look at that ball. Either way, it's just a tough pill to swallow.
I guess on the bright side for Knoch, it does stop the clock. 2:49 left here in the fourth quarter. Trisani will punt from his own 11-yard line. Ben Lane back deep for Freeport at his own 46. Here's the punt. Lane backs up and he fields it at about the 37-yard line, and he runs out of bounds towards the near sideline. Xavier Johnson forces him out of bounds. The ball will be marked at the Freeport 47-yard line, and Freeport leads Knoch 28-14 with 2:39 left in the fourth quarter. Freeport was up 28-0 in the third quarter, but 2 touchdowns by Knoch, and Freeport was up 26-0 at halftime. So Freeport's only 2 points coming in this game was a safety on Kaseki by Garrett King, but Knoch has answered with a J.J. Sobalski receiving touchdown and Keegan Frazier fumble recovery in the end zone. Ben Lane behind Garrett King. King has a passing touchdown this game. Now he'll give it to Lane. He stutter step move, and he'll be up past midfield, tag out the Knoch 49, but there is another flag on the play.
I see 2 flags, probably for the same thing.
Yeah, back at the line of scrimmage, head official Chuck Rustledge has been very busy. Illegal motion on Freeport, so decline it. Now we have an offsides also on Freeport. Or illegal block, actually, chop block. Just getting my signals messed up here, but that'll push Freeport back. Instead of 1st and 10 from the 48, we'll see, will they mark it here? They'll mark it 1st and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Killer penalty there. Backs them up 15 yards. 16 yards. 1st and 26. 2:25 though remaining. Knoch needs 2 touchdowns to tie this game.
Fortunately, a couple running plays, and if you somehow convert this, you can wrap it up. Freeport does have the lead. A solid 14-point lead. A comfortable lead he can sit on.
Yeah, Knoch can only stop the clock once, have 1 timeout left. Freeport also has 1 timeout. Now King just hands it off to Lane as he wisely stays in bounds, gets tackled at the Knoch 36 or at the Freeport 36-yard line. But yet again, there's another flag, and that flag stops the play. Holding against Freeport.
Lane just about 100 yards right now, and I think I mentioned back in the pregame show, Ben Lane, I thought he was going to have a breakout night, maybe 100 yards or so, maybe even more. And now, the guy's a playmaker. He's been healthy all night, and he's definitely been a force to be reckoned with on this Freeport team.
Yeah, Lane did have some critical 3rd down conversion runs on that last drive to at least wind the clock down for Freeport.
I see a couple of 20-yard runs, too. Well, they're going to call it back. It's a penalty on Freeport.
Now that backs Freeport up to its own 20-yard line. Instead of 1st and 26, make it 1st and forever now. King in the pistol. 1:45 remaining, play clock down to 3. King now tosses it to Lane as he is tackled in the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1 yard on the play. Actually, they'll give him the 20, so again, in no gain. Murphy made the stop for Knoch. 2nd and 28. Now Knoch will use its last timeout with 1:18 remaining. 2nd down and 28. And if you're Freeport, you just keep it on the ground here, keep that clock running. Yeah, how have we gone here? Freeport up 28-14. Freeport was up 26-0 going into the second half. Knoch scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter as J.J. Sobolski receiving touchdown from Kaseki on a 4th and goal, and a Keegan Frazier recovery for a touchdown. Knoch here with its last time out to try to stop the clock once again, but I'm not good at, I don't try to speculate, but Freeport might be able to kneel this out. We'll see, though.
It's a 25-second play clock, so depending on how many, it might not be able to nail it out yet, but the nail's in the coffin. It's just not all the way pounded in yet.
Freeport now back out as they break huddle. 2nd and 28 at its own 20-yard line. Need their own 48 for the first down. Now King, he fakes the toss and he keeps it himself. He'll get up past the 25-yard line and he will roll for a few more extra yards. Murphy in on the tackle.
So that'll bring us down to a minute left. So third down. I guess they can nail it out.
3rd and 20 for Freeport.
Looking ahead to next week, well, we got some time. Freeport will be home versus Avonworth. Well, Knoch will travel to Deer Lakes, both of those non-conference matchups.
Yeah, and Freeport, they're going to take victory formation, play clock down to 4, 31 seconds left, and they'll take the knee as time will run out on this one. As it'll be 4th down. Freeport doesn't have to run another play, as Freeport will be winners of the first Pike Bowl.
They're taking home the fish.
Yep, they will receive the Playing for the Pike trophy as waiting for the official time to go down. Clock hits 0 as final score from Knoch High School. Freeport defeats Knoch 28-14. Freeport improves to 1-1 on the year. Knoch drops to 0-2 on the year. Now have a 10-game losing streak here coming up here soon. We will have a post-game interview with Freeport head coach John Gaylott, as Mason will deliver that interview for you. But Knoch, Mason, kept that very interesting, made this very interesting game in the second half.
Oh, yeah, they definitely came back out of the locker room for the second half. They weren't giving up. No team gives up coming out of the locker room for the second half unless you're down by 70 or 80 points. And, you know, the mood might be a little dull, but it was still, the game was still there. You can still win that game. You come out, you give it everything you have. And I give a ton of credit to Knoch tonight, coming out, trying to beat them in the second half.
As now the Freeport players, after they shake hands with Knoch, they're going to claim the Playing for the Pike trophy in the corner of the end zone. As there are the Freeport players.
Let's see if we can see the pike fish. Pike is a type of fish named after the Pike Road, the main highway between Freeport and Knoch. If you haven't seen a picture of that trophy, check it out on our Twitter feed at High Top Sports Network. Let's see if they turn the trophy so we can see it up here in the box.
Yeah, in Freeport, their second consecutive victory over Knoch. Both these teams, as you mentioned earlier, Mason, will have non-conference games. As Knoch, they will travel to Russellton to take on the Deer Lakes Lancers. And that'll be their last non-conference game, as their first conference game will be here against Greensburg-Salem. Freeport still has 2 more non-conference games before they get into section play. Next week, they will host Avonworth, a Class 2A power. And then On the 17th, they will go to Apollo to take on the Apollo Ridge Vikings before their first conference game on September 24th against Derry. As we wait for head coach John Gaylott, Mason, will have you quickly go through all the scoring plays for this game.
Yeah, so we'll go back all the way to the beginning of the game. In the first drive, Knoch fumbled the ball, and then Freeport able to recover 2 plays later, a 22-yard Lane rushing touchdown to make it 7-0. So Freeport there taking an early lead in this game. And moving ahead just a little bit later on, still in the first quarter, a 27-yard out touchdown by Stuyvesant. It was 14-0 ball game there. But later on, Knoch punted the ball, but Logan Jędrzejewski, right there, the big man, the big center, slaps that ball away, recovers the fumble, runs it in 16 yards, makes it 20-0. The extra point kick hits off the upright, no good there. We're at 20-0. Freeport leads everything. Headed into the second quarter, a Malone touchdown there was a 6-yard rushing touchdown by Clark, and Freeport went for 2, making it 26-0. 2-point conversion, no good, obviously. Moving in here to after the half, for scoring plays, we have a safety, which was Garrett King sacking the Knoch quarterback Kasflexi in the end zone, making it 28-0. But Freeport thought another score, they can possibly get into the mercy roll. That would not be the case. J.J. Sebesky receives a 10-yard touchdown, 12-yard touchdown catch. I'll correct myself. It's 28-7. Knoch strikes back. The last score of the game would be a defensive touchdown. Knoch forced a fumble on Freeport in the end zone. Knoch will pick it up. It's 28-14. We had a whole new ball game, but the Freeport defense is able to hold everything out. We wrapped up that game. 28-14, your final score here from Knoch High School. The Yellowjackets emerged victorious in the first ever Pike Bowl.
Yeah, as you saw during that, the Freeport team posed with a picture of the trophy. And once again, Freeport, their second consecutive victory over Knoch, defeating them 34-31 back in 2019. And Mason, what do you think some of the keys were for Freeport for getting this victory?
I'd say consistency. You have to bounce back. You got to bounce back at him. It was a tough loss last week. Put it in the rearview mirror, and they did that today. They came out against a different opponent. They're not playing against a 4A team that's had some success in 4A. You're playing against a 3A team, 20 minutes down the road, and you're playing for something. You're playing for a trophy. You got some pride to play for there. You want your offensive weapons to work. Give your quarterback some time to throw. They did that. And then everything clicked defensively. You know, there were some mismatches. You gave up a touchdown. You offensively gave up a defensive touchdown. But just don't let too much momentum go into this Knoch packed house crowd that we had here tonight.
And I think a critical sequence of plays that it wasn't going to look as critical because Freeport was up by multiple scores at this point was, you remember, 3rd and 21 leading to their second touchdown of the game. 3rd and 21, Garrett King threw a strike over the middle to Vinnie Clark for 38 yards to pick up the first down. And then on 3rd down, King delivered an absolute beautiful ball to Brady Stuyvesant in that drive. So critical sequence of plays there by Freeport to pull away from Knoch early on in this ball game. And you also got to give credit to Knoch as well to make this an interesting game and not giving up after being down 28-0 after the Carson Kasecki safety that Garrett King forced on Knoch. But Coach John Gaylott, as we will hear from him shortly, as he now improves his record to 76-52. Brandon Mallory drops his coaching record to 6-13. As Pike Bowl, once again, Freeport, they won the Playing for the Pike trophy. And one thing I want to say too, Mason, is Garrett King, he looked really good for Freeport, had a bounce-back performance from last week. They didn't throw the ball much, but really, for the most part, when he needed to make critical throws in this game, Garrett King was able to.
Yeah, he was right there. I mean, pretty accurate throws all night long. If it's not accurate, it was within the area. He did not have as much pressure on him as he did back last week, which that's great. The offensive line stepped up. They did their job. He's not getting sacked or almost sacked every single play for the first half of the game. And then that allows your quarterback to do stuff like getting up 28 points on a team.
Yeah, and on the other end, Kaseki, there was a lot of designed QB runs for Kaseki, but there was multiple times where the Freeport defensive line was just in on him. Colton Alderman, one of the main ones, made a lot of big tackles in the backfield for this Freeport defense.
I agree. Hey, either way, a great bounce-back week for Freeport. Knoch, they're going to have to head back to the lab, see what they can cook up for next week when they travel down to Deer Lakes.
Very quickly, we'll hear from one of our sponsors, Arms Care, located at 85 Glade Drive in Katanning, provides the highest quality medical equipment, supplies, and service for use in your home after an accident, illness, or surgery. The caring professionals at Arms Care can assist you in getting the appropriate medical equipment into your home where you can make the most progress on your recovery. Arms Care offers 24/7 emergency service as well as a wide variety of specialized medical equipment, and their experienced staff is committed to helping you or your loved ones regain normalcy by providing the highest level of quality home care equipment, supplies, and service. Contact Arms Care at 724-545-3200 today. And now we will have an exclusive interview with Knoch head coach Brandon Mallory with Mason. Mason, take it away.
Yep, I'm up here in the booth with Knoch head coach Brandon Mallory. Coach, great to have you up here in the booth. Tough week, but there's obviously some plus signs. So going into the locker room, it's tough. You're down by a little bit. So what was the speech when you go into the locker room at the halftime break?
The big thing was we just told the kids that we have to stay on top of them. It was starting to get a little chippy on that side, a little chippy on our side. But we told them from the beginning that, they're not any better than we are. And we told them we have to hang in there and shut them down. And like I said, things got a little chippy out there and I had to get that under control. But if we play like we played in the second half, we can play with anybody, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you about that second half. You're able to get a passing touchdown. You run the ball all day, and then you start to get some confidence, passing the ball. And then, of course, the fumble recovery in the end zone. How did it feel? You finally got some points on the board, and you got some momentum in the stands. How did that feel?
That was big. I mean, obviously, in the kids, just after what happened last week, and to get points on the board and to do it in a dramatic fashion down here, get a turnover for that defensive touchdown, that was just big for the kids in their mind. I think their psyche, and they'll be able to build from that, and that just gave us that momentum.
Now, obviously, some pluses from today's game, but you're traveling down to Deer Lakes. How can you build on this, and what's going to be a focus going into Deer Lakes next week?
The big thing is just staying on them and tell them to focus and to play every play. Because in that first snap, first offensive series, we fumbled it, turned it over, and I think we kind of started feeling a little bad for ourselves. And we remind the kids that we have to be able to flush it, move on, and it doesn't matter next play. So that's the mentality, and that second half is proof that we can play with anybody.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time, and best of luck next week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. And there you heard it, the head coach of the Knoch Knights, Brandon Mallory, up here in the booth after a 28-14 win for Freeport as they improved to 1-1 on the year, Knoch falling to 0-2. Tough loss for them.
As we will go to commercial, as we will hear from Freeport head coach John Gaylott shortly, as you're listening to WPIAL Football on the High Top Sports Network.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Welcome back to the High Top Sports Network as Freeport defeated Knoch 28-14 in the first Pike Bowl. Freeport winning the Playing for the Pike trophy, as looks like head coach John Gaylord is going towards the silence. It looks like you won't be able to hear from him, but you were able to hear from Knoch head coach Brandon Mowry. Once again, Freeport will host Avonworth next week in another non-conference game, and Knoch will look to end its 10-game losing streak as they will head to West Deer next week to take on the Deer Lakes Lancers. And Mason, what are some of your final thoughts from this game?
Well, I mean, I'm glad for the guys at Freeport. Garrett King, this guy's been through so much. He's able to come back and win his first game after battling cancer and all that. Of course, that great leadership team that Freeport has, I think they could build off this win and take this into hopefully a playoff run and, just a great season in general for that program, and they deserve it.
Yeah, and you can hear both the Freeport and the Armstrong games next week on the High Top Sports Network, as once again, Freeport defeats Knoch 28-14, as now Freeport has won 2 consecutive games over Knoch. For Mason, I'm Adam Morganti and Jason DeLuca. Have a good night. Thanks for listening to us here on the High Top Sports Network.